It is 6:12. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, windy, colder, lake snow and snow showers. Additional minor accumulation. Roads will be slick and slippery for the morning commute. A high of 32. Tonight, redeveloping lake effect snow showers and flurries. Cold, a low of 19. And tomorrow, blustery, colder, more lake effect snow and snow showers. A high of 28. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
25 degrees, snowing, and there's a winter weather advisory again in effect until noon today. In sports, the NBA All-Star Weekend is getting underway in Indianapolis. The events kick off tonight with the Rising Stars Challenge and Celebrity Game. The festivities continue Saturday with a three-point contest, slam dunk contest, skills challenge, and an NBA HBCU Classic game. This year will also feature a three-point contest between Steph Curry and WNBA star Sabrina Ionescu. The Western Conference, led by 20-time All-Star LeBron James, will square off against 8-time All-Star Giannis Antetokounmpo. The NHL heads back outside for the return of the Stadium Series. The Metropolitan Division will be taking center stage for this weekend's game at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Devils are kicking off the event when they take on the Flyers Saturday night. A couple of New York teams will be facing each other for the first time this season when the Islanders take on the Rangers Sunday afternoon. Major League Baseball Commissioner and Rome native Rob Manfred is planning to step down from his position when his term in office expires in 2029. The 65-year-old replaced Bud Selig as the league's commissioner in January of 2015 and has since been given a pair of 5-year terms. Owners voted last summer to give Manfred a third term. Manfred has worked with the MLB since 1987, first as outside counsel and then as a chief negotiator for labor matters. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will aim to defend his Daytona 500 crown in the iconic race this weekend. The field was set after the duels at Daytona finished on Thursday night, with Tyler Reddick winning the first qualifier, while Christopher Bell claimed victory in the second heat. Stenhouse finished 20th in Duel 1. Denny Hamlin was the Daytona 500's last repeat champion back in 2019. Joey Logano will take the pole position after earning the fastest qualifying time and is starting alongside Michael McDowell. The green flag waves from Daytona Beach on Sunday afternoon. WIBX 950 news time, 6:15. Again, Joe time is happening here in New Hartford at Daylight Donuts. And once the plows get out and the weather clears up a bit, you can come down here, ask questions of the senator, have some coffee, delicious donuts. They are freshly baked, as Bill has mentioned. I can see them. I'm looking right at them. They look great. And you can have that delicious hot coffee as well with Seattle's best. It's Joe time here at First News with Keeler in the morning from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford on your News Talk and Sports Leader WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
At Target, our aisles tell stories of everyday Black joy. The same joy that can be found in our new Black History Month collection. Like feeling empowered with the teas and mugs from legendary Roots. Or seeing the beauty of Black culture through the art of Winnie Weston. Bring more Black joy to your day with an affordable collection that embraces it. Available now at Target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Hey there, it's Andrew from WIBX. If you're facing excruciating pain, whether it be carpal tunnel, knee pain, back pain, whatever it is, there is a revolutionary technology that has arrived in Utica. Forget the injections, forget surgery. Try Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica. This brand new treatment will help you. It's got a 90% success rate, and it's with Dr. Tim Del Medico. For more information, visit reviveutica.com. That's reviveutica.com.
Scott here from New York Sash. A few years ago, I had a bad experience with a carpet cleaner that made me rethink how installers treat people. The guy showed up in a beat-up truck, kind of looked hungover, and when I opened the door, he mumbled, getting your carpets cleaned? Geez, good thing one of my kids didn't answer the door. Well, at New York Sash, our installers respect you and your home. Clean branded trucks and clean friendly installers. They introduce themselves. They ask for permission to enter your home. They wear booties when they come in. They ask if there are any pets or children to be aware of and explain exactly what they'll be doing. And for multi-day projects, they'll text you a daily status report. It's all about respect and making you feel comfortable.
Call New York Sash now and get 15% off windows, doors, or bathrooms. 315-624-7344. That's 315-624-7344. Or online at NewYorkSash.com. That's NewYorkSash.com.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Well, you wonder why I always...
Celebrate the Man in Black and his greatest song.
I fell into a burning...
Johnny Cash, live on screen.
Of a sleeping city sidewalk.
Experience his legendary voice with a live band and singers.
Coming down.
Sunday, March 10th, 7 p.m., presented by Broadway Utica at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
everyone in Central New York. This is Dave Letterman, your old TV pal. Remember me? I'm supposed to say something witty and funny here about Bill Keeler, but I've got nothing. Ever see a picture of this guy? That's a joke in itself. Anyhow, here's Keeler on WIBX.
Well, good morning. We're live from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Good morning, Andrew Dominio.
Good morning, Mr. Keeler.
And here we go with a very snowy Friday morning. You know, the storm that was supposed to hit to the north and not hit us? Or to the south, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Or was it to the west?
It was not supposed to be here.
It wasn't supposed to be here. Yeah, we'll get a winter weather advisory, a dusting of snow. Now, I don't know that we're going to get a ton of snow, but I'll tell you what is coming down right now is very slippery, and it came down. It wasn't snowing all night long. I kept getting up and checking, and it hit like 4:30, and the snow started coming down.
See, that's the interesting
thing which is why all the schools have closed. And it's a very wet snow and slippery snow. So,
and the interesting thing is in North Utica, which is just a slightly higher elevation, we did start to get snow and the freezing rain at like 11:30 to midnight last night.
Okay. Well, we might have too. I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. Senator Joe Griffo, it is Joe time. He can take it, and we'll just pass back and forth. We'll figure something out, Andrew.
Andrew's like putting the mic in my face. Thank
you. We had a bad mic cord this morning.
Let me tell you that slick and slippery is an understatement right now.
Okay.
So road conditions are pretty hazardous.
It is slick. And I without going through all the school closings, I think pretty much everybody's closed.
I would say everybody's closed, too.
Yeah.
And I bet you they're really happy, though, because it's the weekend before the week, President's Week, so it gives them a chance to...
and that's why I think they were... I almost felt like it was an easy closure day because they're all off next week. Most have used no snow days at all.
You got it.
So why risk it? Take the day.
Extended weekend.
An extended weekend. So
extended weekend, but it is, be careful out there. So
we have what we call Joe time. Explain what that is, Senator Griffo.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for being with us, Bill and Andrew. And I know Davey's at the studio, probably traffic engineer today.
He's you'll see Davey existing live on YouTube. We are on YouTube this morning as well. We're watching him. We're keeping an eye on him.
So Joe Time was something we started many years ago when we've tried a number of different things to continue to be accessible and available to the public. We've done town hall meetings, we've done door-to-door, a lot of things to try to engage the public, and had this concept of coming into coffee shops because that's where people gather, and people are not in any way hesitant to offer an opinion or give you a suggestion. And then we
plus conveniently, you had the name Joe.
Well, Morning Joe took the thing we wanted, so we figured Joe Time was
okay.
I'm not sure who recommended or suggested that, but it's worked. I want to thank you guys again because what started to happen is some of the morning shows would cover it, which gave people who had an opportunity, particularly on a day like today, not to be here, to still have that opportunity to hear and interact with us. So thank you for being here, and we'll see what it's going to bring today because I'd be careful coming in.
Yeah,
if you're coming
in. You can always call. We'll take calls too. We'll figure that out. Okay, did you guys watch any of the testimony yesterday of the DA and which county is that in Atlanta? Fulton County.
Fulton County, and I saw the the highlights of it, yes.
I don't know, I got to tell you something. I felt like she actually, and I know people are going to disagree with this, trust me, but I felt like she was able to be the DA and not a witness. She manhandled the attorneys, I felt like.
I didn't see it.
And the judge let a lot of that go on.
I didn't see it, but I thought that was an episode of The Bachelor or something. Or
it was right, because it was all about love. And I think the big question was, what is the difference between a relationship and a romantic relationship? And then she said, I know what you're saying, I know what you're implying. Let's just say it. It's sex. We're talking about sex. When did we first have sex? And it was, and the whole thing was, did she have sex? They have sex before he was appointed or afterwards, and that is what this whole thing is about. And by the way, testimony continues this morning at 9 o'clock.
It's kind of like the definition of is, right? With
It was a little bit, I felt like there was a little Clinton going on there. Yeah. So,
but more damning was his testimony rather than hers. Is some of the stuff.
I think he was
the financial aspects of things.
I think but she cleared all that up, and I find it's going to be very. Remember, you're playing to the judge. That's it. And so the whole thing has been the implication from Trump's attorneys. First of all, can we all agree? Keep it in your pants. What are you doing? What are the two of them doing having a relationship, right? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is coming from the guy who had an affair with his producer and ended up marrying her. So, this is the pot calling the kettle black. However, in this scenario, it's a pretty high-profile case, right? What are you guys doing? What are they doing?
Yeah, beyond that, it's what it's all about, too, right? And it's just not... I don't know what they were thinking or how this all came together, but I think it's really kind of torpedoed the case that they're going to have right now to present because there is prejudice here.
I got to tell you, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think, and obviously the judge is not going to make a ruling from the bench. He's going to, they're making coffee, espresso.
Sounds good.
The judge is going to have a written decision. Who knows what he says? But I got to tell you, after yesterday, I felt like the advantage went away from her during his testimony. She came back and I think brought it back to her advantage. But there are two more defense witnesses today. I don't know what they're going to say, and they will, and then she gets to bring up a couple of witnesses, and the judge will make the decision. But I got to tell you, it really all comes down to the law, and it all comes down to the money. Did she gain? Did she profit? And the defense or Trump's attorneys kept pushing the whole thing about cash. Why did you give him cash? Did you give him? You must have given him cash, so there's no record of it. But it's like anything else. You go on they go on a cruise. She said, I gave him money. He booked it. We shared all expenses. I gave him $2,500 cash.
Well, I think the big question, though, too, is you're using taxpayer money in some cases.
No, not according to...
But you hired the individual.
I understand
so that's the taxpayer money.
I understand that. My point is, though, it really comes right down to the letter of the law. And is there proof that money was gained by her or by him and through taxpayer dollars? And it'll be up to the judge to decide that. Now, listen to this. If he kicks her off the case, he, of course, goes, but the entire DA's office goes, which is going to, as you said, torpedo this case.
Yeah, this is very interesting drama for television.
Did you watch any of it?
I did not, and
okay.
I didn't have an opportunity
That's why I'm saying I went back and forth yesterday on, but Andrew's right. His testimony was pretty rough.
Was this all live TV?
It was all live.
Okay.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a made for TV. It was a moment that wasn't made for TV, but it made for good TV. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then can we stay with some other stuff going on?
You're the host.
The
co-host this morning.
The congressional lines. Here we are. They're splitting up Utica and Rome and the Valley. We become the weakling of the district. Syracuse will be the populous center, and we lose the seat.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is unfortunate, and we talked about this before because there was no real need for this. Because last year you had the highest court make a ruling, you had an independent professional who has had a history in drawing lines, a special master from Carnegie Mellon, appointed by the courts to undertake the process. And the only thing that's changed is the chief judge in the state of New York. And now he's very liberal, and when you politicize the court, it becomes a problem. So obviously, Congress was at stake. But the argument he made was, in his ruling, is the one that I take exception to, by saying everything that was done last year, all the time, the effort, the money that was spent, was only intended for 1 year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not true.
And
I mean, as far as we know, that's not true.
Well, it's not. And I mean, because census is every 10 years, nothing changed. So as a result of this overruling now, I think what we saw is they provided a plan, and the Independent Redistricting Commission knew because they could not get anything together last year. They basically ran out the clock. There was discord that in order to preserve any credibility, that they had to come in with something that had a consensus opinion. And they provided one plan now that the legislature will consider. And the options.
Well, here's something that I would ask you, Joe. I read a story yesterday in the New York Times that said basically they did all of this for very little change. Now, for us, it affects us, but statewide, it really doesn't affect that much. So,
but it does.
Well,
it does.
Well, let me just propose this, and then you can tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
But if it isn't beneficial to Democrats, you know what's going to happen. The Assembly and the Senate, Democrat-controlled, are going to vote this thing down, and they're going to do it themselves. And then there'll be lawsuits.
Correct. That's potentially the process. In fact, the other thing that's not available this time, which was in the past, is for the communities to weigh in. Remember, we had a public period where you could, and that worked to our advantage because they were trying to split, if you remember, Oneida County the last time, and we all collectively came together, the county exec, myself, the mayors, saying just don't do this because these are communities of similar interest. So, where we are in the process now is this plan, which is not the same but similar to the pre-existing districts. But the tweaks that were made, Bill, I think is what could change this and move these from an enrollment perspective more blue. And I think that's what was done. So it was done surgically, so it doesn't look obvious. But the change, even in a 22nd, obviously leans this more blue.
Definitely, it leans more blue, and because they really take out the more Republican areas, and they which is why it literally breaks up our county.
Correct. Now under this proposed plan, you'd be represented by Elise Stefanik.
And you know what? Here's the thing that bothers me about that. And I realize Elise Stefanik is a Republican hero right now. But here's the fact. She has been nowhere to be found for Herkimer County. She's been representing Herkimer County for the last year. And she's nowhere to be found. Why? Because we're on the edge of her district. And that's what we're going to be in the 22nd.
Well, the concern there is the geography. Obviously, you have to earn a certain amount of and represent a percentage of the population. And in fairness to Representative Stefanik, she almost has a third of New York State. If you look at the district and the landmass, so to get around makes it very challenging. But this is the proposal, and we'll see what happens. And as you indicated, now it goes to the legislature. Legislature has two options: to either accept the plan, and they need a 2/3 majority in order to accept, or to reject by a simple majority. And then if it's rejected, the legislature would begin to draw the lines, and then obviously, depending upon what happens, there'd be legal challenges potentially. So
what do you think's going to happen?
You know, that's interesting. I actually think they may, depending upon the conversations they're having. Let's face facts here. This is not devoid of politics. So I'm sure there's conversations taking place between the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and some of the Democrat leadership in the state. If they feel this is a map that they can benefit from, then they'll continue to move forward and accept. If they feel that this is problematic because they have to gain seats. And again, in fairness, you're seeing this across the country, right? In red states, they're trying to manipulate. But in New York, the difference is we have a constitutional amendment that the people of the state of New York expressed their will on and said, let's end gerrymandering, let's do this fairly. And that was done last year. And that's why this doesn't make any sense, because the highest court was involved. The judiciary directed a special master who has experience in doing this across the country. And the money and the time that was spent, it just is wrong.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we have a primary in June.
That is correct.
And we still don't even know who's running where at this point now. And interestingly, you have the way this district has been cut does not benefit Brandon Williams at all.
I think what you'll see is in the next couple of weeks, because next week is not a session week, you'll see within the next couple of weeks, I think, some action taken. Now, depending upon that action, will determine the political calendar. As you indicated, if there's a rejection, that pushes everything back. But if they accept, then you're only missing a week or so of
right. But then the problem you have is if it gets pushed out too far, you have that whole military absentee ballot issue.
correct, but I think they still would have the timing within.
Right.
They can look at diminishing signatures for the congressional candidates instead of the amount that's required at this point in time. They can adjust that, again, legislatively if the need arises and a challenge presents.
And then one more for you, if you don't mind, the issue of the parking garage.
Well,
we've learned the parking garage is a season, is that what it's being called? A season behind, so it probably won't be done until summer now.
Yeah, I just heard that in the radio. I know the county exec is coming in, and I'm sure he's frustrated and unhappy.
Yep.
But
well, we were just talking to him about it being done by the time the women's Olympic event starts, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing what Tony will give us more perspective, I think, on exactly what's going on and how they're going to handle circumstances and situations like the tournament and things of that nature.
All right, interesting stuff. Coming up, we'll talk to Willie Waffle, who has the weekend stuff. Any movies, streaming, anything like that. Donna is out there. She is someone who listens every day. She has COVID. Oh. And yesterday messaged me and said, I need something to watch today and something I can binge watch. I'm stuck here, right? I have COVID. So I went with the Curious Case of Natalie Grace. I'm like, you got to watch it. You got to watch through the last episode of season 2. And she was messaging me all day long about that stinking show because it is mind-blowing. Have you watched it?
I haven't yet.
Seen it yet? Well, then you don't know. Have you watched it? Oh, I can't wait for you guys to get COVID, and then you'll watch it. No, I don't want you to get COVID. All right, so stand by. We'll come back. We're live from Daylight Donuts this morning. Yes, the roads are slick. Yes, a bunch of school closings, and pretty much everybody is closed. It's all on our website at WIBX950.com, and we'll talk to Willie coming up in a few minutes. 641 at WIBX.
Shop the President's Day sale at Carl's Wholesale Furniture Warehouse for the lowest prices. Price low to sell fast, plus next day delivery and no credit needed financing.
Hey there, it's Andrew from WIBX. If you're facing excruciating pain, whether it be carpal tunnel, knee pain, back pain, whatever it is, there is a revolutionary technology that has arrived in Utica. Forget the injections, forget surgery. Try Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica. This brand new treatment will help you. It's got a 90% success rate, and it's with Dr. Tim Delmedico. For more information, visit reviveutica.com. That's reviveutica.com.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents the return of Cartoon Madness starting Monday, February 19th through Saturday, February 24th. This year's theme character is Wile E. Coyote, who will be featured in many of the 12 classic Warner Brothers cartoons. Matinees run daily at 3 with an additional evening screening on Saturday at 7. Cartoon Madness all next week at the Rome Capitol Theater. For more information, visit RomeCapitol.com.
That's all, folks.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
It's All Seasons Outfitters store-wide clearance sale. Find huge savings on your favorite brands. North Face, Champion, and select work boots 50% off. Outdoor games and baseball 50% off. Save 30% on winter boots and hunting apparel. 25% on workwear and hikers. You won't want to miss it. The savings are on at All Seasons Outfitters. See more on their Facebook page and allseasonsoutfitter.com. Your store for every season is All Seasons Outfitters.
Pure Talk believes in American values and that free should mean exactly that, free. Well, switch to Pure Talk today and you'll get a free Samsung 5G smartphone. Now, qualifying plans start at just $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and, of course, mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Start saving on wireless today and switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk.
Soak your stress away any time of the year with a spa from Liverpool Pool and Spa. The #1 dealer in Central New York, trusted with name brands like Hot Spring Spas, the #1 selling spa nationwide. There's in-store 0% financing available. Find that perfect spa and start relaxing today. Shop online at liverpoolpoolandspa.com or visit the brand new location on East Dominic Street in Rome. And remember, don't just dream it, live it.
You work hard for a living here in the Mohawk Valley. You make a difference. You leave your mark. You deserve a financial advisor who works hard for you.
Local, prudent, and trustworthy. Van Meter & Van Meter are your full-service financial professionals. I'm Chris Van Meter, and I've spent my life helping people with financial planning, investing for the future, managing their wealth, planning their taxes, thinking about their legacy.
And I'm Dave Van Meter. Our team offers you the deep bench of financial professionals you deserve. We have the education, the experience, and the tools to make a difference for your future. Visit us at VanMeterLLC.com.
We're Van Meter & Van Meter. Call us at 315-823-9200 or visit us in Little Falls, Schuyler, or Palatine Bridge.
Securities and advisory services offered through Cattery Grant & Company Incorporated, a registered investment advisor and member FINRA SIPC. Van Meter & Van Meter LLC and Cattery Grant & Company Incorporated are separate entities.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Careful with that microphone. Just be very careful.
It's like a taser.
Coming up, we'll speak with Willie Waffle in a minute or two. I believe it's going to be over here. We're live at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
And we're live.
Where the Daylight Donuts are made fresh every single.
Just look at them over there.
I'm telling you, delicious. They are piping hot, and when they do the glazed, they literally melt in your mouth. So good, so incredible. Hold on, I got to find your mic. I don't know why you're not working all of a sudden, Joe. Try it again.
Hello.
Yeah, I got you now.
Americans.
Oh, you're doing your Paul Harvey.
Which is pretty good.
Good day.
Good day, Americans.
Okay.
Paul Harvey here.
Which one are you on? I got you on this one.
How's that?
Keep talking.
Keep talking. And
how about those donuts?
It doesn't look like it's daylight yet here, but I think that's another part of the snow. It's pretty gray out at this point.
Okay, I've got you now. Anyway, so I do have some guy in 540 this morning, and he's saying, don't you have thousands of cash sitting at your home and reimbursing your employees in cash? That's not what happened, and I gotta say, I'm not defending her or the Trump attorneys at all. I'm just trying to think. I've just watched that as I didn't follow this case at all, and I watched it yesterday. I'm trying to come up with a what is the judge thinking? Because that's all that really matters.
Yeah,
and I think she did a good job of explaining that some people, and I know people who are like this. They feel like they have to have 3 to 6 months of cash in their home in case of emergency.
Some people don't trust the banks.
And that she says is what her father taught her. And while sometimes she has not done well, and maybe there's only 500 in there, most times it's between 5,000 and 10,000. So when if they go out on a trip or something, when she needs cash, she goes to her safe and she gets her cash. So it doesn't matter what you think or I think, or 540, you guy, the guy in 540. All that matters is the judge buying that.
Well, that's true, but I think ultimately the question here becomes credibility again.
No. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that you can't disagree with. The only thing that matters is what the judge thinks.
Well, correct.
And credibility plays a role in that, but all that matters is what the judge thinks. There's no jury.
Well, that's true.
And if the judge says this is okay, then
true.
It's over.
But if the judge is truly objective and independent, I think
which I think this judge comes very well reviewed and I think is very credible.
The question,
and he also, from what the people were saying who are in Atlanta, he's not one to show his cards. He doesn't. You don't learn
from his
poker
face.
You don't learn from his facial expression. So I don't know what he's going to come up with. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day, if he buys that could very well be her out. If he doesn't, this case is dead, and it will not happen before the election.
I think it's a newly appointed judge too. They said this recently in the last year or two.
Yeah. You disagree, Joe?
Well, I disagree because I think there's the aspect of this is a district attorney who has to be above reproach, regardless of any personal relationships. If she hired somebody and used taxpayer dollars because they were having a relationship, think of the anti-nepotism clauses that exist in government.
Listen, I don't know what they were thinking. Right? What were they thinking? Right. They weren't. You know, the hormones kick in, Joe. But you can disagree, Joe, till forever. It doesn't matter.
Nobody's disagreeing with you as to whether or not the ultimate decision rests with
the judge. Whether it's right or wrong is a completely different story. But whatever this judge does, it's going to be very interesting to see, and I don't think we'll find that out until next week.
And to your point about the cash at home, I mean, that's why I always tell my buyers they buy in Rome or East Utica. Look in those walls. Look in those walls, under the garage. Somebody
leaves a jar of something, and you're like, why would you leave that jar of peanut butter? And then you open the thing up, and you realize there's cash inside.
Why is this floorboard a little loose here?
Well, this is very interesting. So let me bring in Willie Waffle. Did you see any of that testimony, Willie? Do I have him here? I hope on this line. God forbid. Hey, Willie, are you there?
Hey, how you doing?
Gotcha. Did you see any of that testimony yesterday out of Atlanta?
No, I missed it. What was going on?
Well, I don't want to get into the whole thing.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you.
We'll catch up another time.
But I'm going to tell you. It was like live streaming. It was like watching something on Netflix. It was pretty entertaining. I felt anyway. All right. What are we looking at, Willie, for the weekend? Anything in theaters?
In theaters, I mean, there's stuff in theaters. I wouldn't say it's worth going to see. I mean, I think your big best bet is to watch Netflix. But let's get the theater stuff out of the way so we can talk about that. So, two movies. Kind of they're hoping to be big movies for the President's Day weekend, but not really, I think, delivering. And the first one is this Madam Web. This is a Spider-Man universe spin-off movie in the Spider-Man universe where we never get to see Spider-Man. It's like the cheap version of Spider-Man. It's like we're going to have all the other characters, we're going to have all these other villains, but we're never going to see Spider-Man because Marvel owns him. So, this is going into this character played by Dakota Johnson, who's a paramedic. She can sense the future, and she wants to protect these three young ladies, one of which is Sydney Sweeney, from an evil villain she keeps envisioning going after them in the future. And, as the movie unfolds, we find out why. And it just looks cheap. It looks phony. The special effects are third rate. I mean, there's just no good dialogue in this movie. It is just a disaster, if you ask me. I'm at 0 waffles for Madam Web.
Wow, 0. Oh, boy.
That bad. I mean, I don't know that you've done a 0. I don't think I've heard
do not go see this movie.
A half a waffle, but never a 0. Wow.
It's just been a while.
Anything else? Anything else good or nothing?
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about good, I mean, I think here's the thing we should talk about. It is a documentary film on Netflix called Lover, Stalker, Killer. Okay, if you haven't seen this yet, you get yourself a bag of popcorn, you pull up, and you start having a good time, okay? This thing is an hour-and-a-half long documentary. It is the true story of this guy. He's a mechanic, and, you know, he breaks up with his lady. He decides, hey, I'll get on a couple of these apps. I'll meet some ladies. I'll have some fun. You know, so he kind of starts dating one woman, and then he starts dating a second woman at the same time. And the two of them kind of have a run-in, nothing bad. And after that, one of the women starts to terrorize this man. She's texting him. She's threatening him. She's doing crazy stuff. It's like Fatal Attraction all over, okay?
Whoa.
And the whole movie revolves around, A, how insane all of this turns out to be, and B, the investigation to try to find her because she's like disappeared. She's like sending him text messages and doing things and nobody can find her. She's like the greatest hidden thief ever or something. And, you know, so you get to see that investigation play out, and that's where I think the real big fun starts. I'm at 4 waffles.
Wow.
I cannot tell you how just I hate to say entertaining, but I mean it's enthralling, and
Wow.
it really is just so interesting. And the whole time you're wondering, how are they going to figure this out?
It's so funny, Lover, Stalker, Killer. That's kind of like what was on MSNBC yesterday for that trial. Lover, Stalker. That was Lover, Stalker, DA.
Yeah, right.
Lover, Stalker, Prosecutor. Okay, Lover, Stalker, Killer on Netflix.
We go from a 0 waffle to a 4 waffle. Wow.
How about Billy Joel with a special on CBS coming up? That's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, we didn't really think that his appearance on the Grammys was just a one-off thing, did we? No,
Yeah,
this
probably.
is the beginning of an entire campaign. I still argue there's going to be an album coming out soon. We just haven't heard about it yet. But Billy Joel is going to have a 2-hour special on April 14th on CBS. It's going to be basically a celebration of his concert series, his residency at Madison Square Garden. So they're going to be there on March 28th when he does his 100th concert in this series, and then they're going to put together a 2-hour special about it that will air on April 14th on CBS, and it's going to be available on Paramount Plus as well.
Okay.
So you'll be able to
All right.
stream it whenever you want to.
Okay.
The interesting thing about
very interesting.
The interesting thing about Netflix, Willie, if you can hear me, is that my fiance and I started watching Suits, which was originally a USA Network show, and now it's really popular and had a revival on Netflix. And there was
It's
actually
going to NBC, right?
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's
so.
got.
There's.
They've got the a lot of the cast was in the Super Bowl commercial for
Yeah,
T-Mobile.
they're pushing it big right now, Willie.
Oh yeah, they are really having a massive comeback. Like you said, it started to it premiered on Netflix. Basically, I forget what they call it, but basically the reruns are running on Netflix, and it's one of their top stream shows. So like you said, all the different actors are showing up in Super Bowl commercials, and now NBC is bringing Suits back.
Awesome.
They're putting together Suits LA, a spin-off of Suits that would be set in LA. Stephen Amell from Arrow is going to be the star. They're going to try to produce the pilot next month, and they're going to hopefully, if they like it, put it on the air in the fall.
Wow. You have news today too that is just horrible. I can't even stomach it. But you can go ahead with the Travis Kelce story.
Yeah, Travis
Listen
Kelce,
to this.
Taylor's boyfriend has produced a movie, My Dead Friend Zoe, which stars Ed Harris and Morgan Freeman, and it's going to be premiering at the South by Southwest Film Festival in March. And here's the part that I'm still trying to figure out and wrap my head around. It has become the first to use green energy tax credits via the Inflation Reduction Act championed by President Biden. So essentially, one of the producers had some sort of environmental tax credits or something, and they played. I don't know. I can't even explain it. He sold them off and put the money into the movie or whatever shell game or chicanery is going on. They pulled it off and they put the money into this movie, and now they're saying that this is going to be groundbreaking. That other people are going to be doing it as well.
No wonder why all these people thought that Taylor Swift was going to endorse Biden during halftime.
Yeah.
Because he's in bed with Biden now, making a movie.
And Taylor.
Yeah, literally. Okay, so Travis Kelce is now going to be a movie producer.
Well, yeah, everybody wants to be a movie producer because, they get to rub elbows with the Hollywood stars and starlets.
Yeah.
And they feel important. They get to walk those red carpets. I mean, there's a lot of people who always want to be in Hollywood. And it's better to enter Hollywood from their level than to be somebody who has to work your way up. Let me tell you, that's a lot harder. Talking about Taylor Swift real quick, it came out overnight. She is donating $100,000 to the family of that lady who was killed during the Chiefs Super Bowl parade.
Yeah, that was terrible. So,
yeah.
All right, Willie. Well, listen. Enjoy the weekend. We're getting a lot of snow, or at least it's slippery out there this morning. So, hopefully you don't get hit too hard. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks so much, Willie Waffle. WIBX Utica Rome at 7:00.
For some, it doesn't add up. CJ Papa, Fox News. Defense attorneys trying to show improper behavior between Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis and her lover. She hired Nathan Wade to prosecute Donald Trump and his alleged co-conspirators. They zeroed in on the money trail.
We've had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. It's been my whole life.
That's DA Willis. Fox's Steve Harrigan in Atlanta.
Fonnie Willis really took everybody by surprise. The DA had fought a subpoena for several days to appear, but instead she decided herself to take the stand. It did not take long for emotions to run high.
Let's be clear, because you've lied in this. Let me tell you which one you lied in. Right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth, Judge. And it is a lie. It is a lie.
Nathan Wade, the prosecutor that Willis hired, was grilled for hours on the stand. They wanted to know when that relationship between Willis and Wade began. Wade insisted that relationship began only after he was hired. But the defense produced a witness who claimed Wade and Willis' relationship began long before Wade was hired.
And DA Willis returns to the stand later this morning. He was feeding federal law enforcement with intel, but the special prosecutor probing Hunter Biden claims some of the information was stale.
Special counsel David Weiss announcing he has charged Alexander Smirnov with lying to his FBI handlers, claiming that an executive of the Ukrainian oil firm Burisma told him in 2015 they'd paid $5 million each to Joe and Hunter Biden to protect us through his dad from all kinds of problems. But the indictment says his Burisma meeting took place in 2017, after Joe Biden had left office. Smirnov has been arrested in Las Vegas. If convicted, he could face up to 25 years in federal prison. In Washington, Jack Callahan, Fox News.
America's listening to Fox News.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
It's been more than a year since the toxic train derailment that devastated East Palestine, Ohio, and today the small town will receive a presidential visit. Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House.
Today's visit to East Palestine comes at the invitation of the mayor, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says.
The president's going to hear directly from the people of East Palestine. This is a trip that he has been wanting to make, but wanted to make sure that it was the right time to do.
A Norfolk Southern train derailment in February of last year spewed toxic chemicals, including vinyl chloride, into the air, soil, and water. The EPA administrator and other senior officials have made regular visits to the community, but President Biden has faced criticism for not visiting after making trips to other disaster zones. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, Dr. Rick Chai lives in East Palestine. He's also running for Congress.
I think he's here because it's an election year and because he has to be here. I don't think he'd be here otherwise.
He spoke to Fox earlier. The Republican-led House turns down a big piece, the Biden administration's energy agenda. Fox's Ryan Schmelz has an update.
9 Democrats joined all present House Republicans to pass a bill rejecting a pause on new liquefied natural gas export projects. Republicans say the move by the administration would empower U.S. adversaries and hurt the economy. Texas Congressman Wesley Hunt represents a district with a significant amount of natural gas production.
There is not a single country that produces LNG and oil safer and cleaner than what we do right here in the United States.
Some Democrats argue the pause is good for the environment, and the White House says the pause gives the administration time to evaluate the impacts of liquefied natural gas on energy costs and climate change. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Inflation in focus again this morning. The Producer Price Index for January will be released. It follows a hotter than expected Consumer Price Index for last month. I'm CJ Papa. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time, 7:05. I'm Andrew Domenio. Snow continues to fall here outside of Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. We're at 25 degrees. We have the winter storm warning still in effect until noon today. Winter weather advisory in effect as well. Well, the MVHS parking garage has been delayed, according to Oneida County executive. It will at least be done not until the summer comes. We'll speak to him as he joins us here for Joe Time in the 8 o'clock hour to get his thoughts on that. But the big news there, a significant delay in the parking garage construction. Utica police have charged a teenager in connection with a vehicle-pedestrian collision and shots fired incident that took place in January. UPD releasing information about a serious injury after a vehicle-pedestrian collision on South Street and Taylor Ave in which a male was intentionally struck by a vehicle, followed by a 14-year-old juvenile firing a handgun at the fleeing vehicle. Officials said a 16-year-old male has been identified as the driver. Due to his age, the driver's identity will not be released. However, the teen has been charged with assault and various other New York State vehicle and traffic violations. The Independent Redistricting Commission has voted to make changes to Central New York's biggest congressional district. Under this plan, the 22nd district, that is represented by first-term Republican Congressman Brandon Williams, would cover all of Onondaga and Madison counties. Parts of Cayuga and Oneida County and Cortland County would also be in the district. The map now goes to the state legislature for final approval. An investigation is now underway into what led to a bullet being found on a school bus in Baldwinsville. Authorities say the bullet was discovered yesterday by a student who was riding to Reynolds Elementary School. The superintendent says it's believed the bullet was seen on the ground before being brought on the bus, but just who had it is being looked into. And a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is set to make a stop in Syracuse this summer. Carlos Santana will be at the Empower Federal Credit Union Amphitheater at Lakeview July 24th. He'll be joined at the show by the popular group Counting Crows. Tickets for the concert are scheduled to go on sale to the public this morning at 10 a.m. through Live Nation. It is 7:07. Your weather forecast is brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, windy, colder, lake snow and snow showers. Additional minor accumulation. Roads will be slick and slippery for the morning commute, a high of 32. Tonight, redeveloping lake effect snow showers and flurries, cold, a low of 19. And tomorrow, blustery, colder, more lake effect snow and snow showers, a high of 28. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
25 degrees with snow falling. It is 7:08. The Devils were unable to extend their winning streak to 3 games after falling 2-1 to the Kings at the Prudential Center. The Rangers extended their winning streak to 6 games after taking down the Montreal Canadiens at 7-4 at Madison Square Garden. The NHL heads back outside for the return of the Stadium Series. The Metropolitan Division will be taking center stage for this weekend's games at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Devils are kicking off the event when they take on the Flyers Saturday night. NBA All-Star Weekend is getting underway in Indianapolis. The events kick off tonight with the Rising Stars Challenge and Celebrity Game. The festivities continue Saturday with a 3-point contest, slam dunk contest, skills challenge, and an NBA HBCU Classic game. Knicks guard Jalen Brunson was selected to his first All-Star game, which is Sunday night. New York is second in the Atlantic Division at 33-22. Former Major League outfielder Lenny Dykstra is recovering from a stroke at a Los Angeles hospital, according to the New York Post. Former Mets teammates Darryl Strawberry and Kevin Mitchell said Dykstra was in good spirits and set to undergo further evaluation at UCLA Medical Center. He has been moved out of intensive care and will likely be hospitalized into next week. Syracuse has won 2 of the last 3. The 16-9 Orange will visit Georgia Tech tomorrow night. Utica Comets will be playing on home ice tomorrow night versus the Belleville Senators. The puck drops at 7 p.m. And the Utica University Men's Pioneers have their final 2 games of the regular season this weekend, both at home. They'll be at the Adirondack Bank Center tonight for a 7 o'clock puck drop against Arcadia, and they'll play them again tomorrow at 2 p.m. That's at the Adirondack Bank Center before that Utica Comets game. Well, I want to tell you that just down the road from here is Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica with Dr. Tim Delmedico. I have another appointment today, and it's become a situation where I look forward to. I'm almost excited to get this treatment because it really does work. I've been going for foot and ligament pain in my ankle, some inflammation there, and I have to say that it is helping dramatically, and it's helped people all across central New York. Dr. Tim Delmedico has brought this revolutionary technology that was developed in Germany. He's brought it to Utica, and it's changing lives. Forget about the pills. Forget about those injections that only mask the pain. That could actually do further damage because you don't know the damage you're doing because it's masked. This promotes natural healing. It uses high-speed sound waves to direct blood flow and stem cells to the impacted area, and it has a 90% success rate. So if you are looking to get rid of your pain for good, go to reviveutica.com. That's reviveutica.com. You can see testimonials. You can see videos of how the treatment works. And you can see one local celebrity, speaking of the Comets, the president of the Comets, Rob Esch, has had huge successes from all of his years of injuries playing hockey with softwave therapy from Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica with Dr. Tim Delmedico. Again, if you're looking to get rid of pain in your life, reviveutica.com.
Are you tired of the constant battle with unwanted hair? Give us a call at A Soothing Touch Laser Hair Removal for hassle-free permanent hair removal. With our affordable pay-as-you-go programs, no confusing contracts or memberships, and no hefty upfront costs, achieving the smooth skin you have always wanted without breaking the bank is just one call away. Gift certificates are available and make the perfect gift for any special occasion for both women and men. Say goodbye to unwanted hair and hello to confidence. Visit our website today where affordability meets perfection at ASoothingTouchLaserHairRemoval.com.
At Target, our aisles tell stories of everyday Black joy. The same joy that can be found in our new Black History Month collection. Like feeling empowered with the teas and mugs from legendary Roots. Or seeing the beauty of Black culture through the art of Winnie Weston. Bring more Black joy to your day with an affordable collection that embraces it. Available now at Target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Rev up your savings with Steep Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer. Picture yourself behind the wheel of the powerful 2024 Chevy Silverado. Enjoy financing as well as 2.9% for 72 months, or a rebate up to $6,000 on select models. Looking for adventure? Take a ride in the 2024 Trailblazer LS. Lease it for 3 years with 10,000 miles per year for only $329 a month. Don't miss out on these incredible offers at Steep Ponte Chevy. Your trusted family-owned and operated dealership. Stop by and see why it's always easy to do business at Steep Ponte Ponte Chevy or visit their complete inventory at stevepontechevy.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive. For lease and financing offers, customers must qualify for top-tier credit through GM Financial. Silverado offer on select models. Must have a 2010 or newer Chevrolet trade-in. Lease must have current lease and household. All taxes, fees, and first payment due on delivery. See salesperson for details. Must take delivery by 2/29/2024.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents the return of Cartoon Madness starting Monday, February 19th through Saturday, February 24th. This year's theme character is Wile E. Coyote, who will be featured in many of the 12 classic Warner Brothers cartoons. Matinees run daily at 3 with an additional evening screening on Saturday at 7. Cartoon Madness all next week at the Rome Capitol Theater. For more information, visit RomeCapitol.com.
That's all, folks.
At Mattress Express, get a queen flex head bed with adjustable base and a set of sheets for $14.99. Qualified buyers get no money down and up to 60 months to pay. A flex head bed is where each head goes up and down independently, but it's still one solid mattress. See store for details.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, I want to tell you, I got to get rid of this. I want to say, Joe, you're 100% correct. She handled the defense well, but the judge should not have allowed it. I completely agree with that. I think the judge let her go yesterday way too far. We're talking about Fannie Willis. And then Ann from Rome says, Fannie Willis was totally disrespectful. I'd love to see her talk to Judge Jeannie like that. Janine. Judge Janine. Yeah, like that. She would put her in her place. Joe, you want to comment on that? No. Okay. All right. Oh, man. He is the chairman of, I'll let you do the introductions here, Joe.
Yeah, we have, fortunate to have with us David Avello, who's chairman of GOPAC.
By the way, I should say we're at Daylight Donuts this morning in the midst of a snowstorm. It is Joe time, Senator Joe Griffo.
And GOPAC is a GOP state and local government training organization where he brings leaders from across the country. David appears on a lot of different network shows providing analysis. So pleased to have David Avello with us today. Very well respected and does an extraordinary job as chairman of GOPAC.
David, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for coming. Do you have any comments on the made-for-TV moment from the courtroom in Atlanta yesterday?
Well, it's all going to be very interesting to watch. I'm not sure anything legally disqualified her, but it's ultimately up to the judge. And you made a good point. I mean, most judges don't like to be talked to that way. Whether that's the proper reason to get rid of her or not, I don't know. But it certainly will be a factor.
I will tell you, I've been on the stand a few times. I was going back and forth with somebody yesterday, my friend Rob, and I'm like, if you or I were like anything close to that on the stand, we would be behind bars by now, because he kept telling her to, I mean, she was more like a DA, not a witness. It was something to watch. So, all right. Well, listen, all of this going on, and how do you go to your individual states and even come to New York, and we're dealing with everything we're dealing with here, and you have all of this going on with the former president. In some places, it's good to run right along with him. In other places, you have candidates who are kind of distancing themselves. How do you manage all this?
Every district has its uniqueness. Let me say, though, that as we have seen in the past, this is a team sport, and many team members don't like when you distance yourself from the team. And so ultimately, if you're a candidate, you have to decide if I'm going to create distance between myself and the presidential nominee, which Donald Trump is going to be our nominee, then can you pick up enough Democratic and independent voters in order to win the election? And that's the calculus that Republican candidates who do want to distance themselves from President Trump are going to have to decide. Can they still win if they distance themselves from the policies that President Trump is putting out there?
Yeah. Joe.
Yeah, and under redistricting, David, I know there's a lot of this taking place across the country, and the control of Congress isn't a balance. What's your perspective? I mean, we just had the case here in New York where the Independent Redistricting Commission gave their proposal, which will now be considered by the legislature.
It is a fantastic question in that it will have as much impact on who the majority is in Congress as any one factor that will happen politically, in that you have states that will try to create districts that they can ensure themselves a victory.
Yeah.
There in New York, you see where two Democratic members will two districts will become more Democratic. One will strengthen for the Republicans, and I wouldn't count Brandon Williams out. I mean, Brandon Williams is a very smart member of Congress, and one has already shown he can win that district, and now he actually is in the district, which will be to his benefit. I wouldn't count Brandon Williams out. It's certainly Republicans were expecting a far worse map. And so coming out of this, Republicans should feel good. Now, it's up to Joe and his colleagues about whether they actually approve this map. But hopefully they will, and give us a good even playing field for control of Congress.
And as you look across the country, David, I mean, a number of states, we talked about this, are presenting maps, even though we're 4 years past census data. How does the balance look if you look at it from a macro perspective right now? Changes that were made in Texas or North Carolina, then in the blue states like New York. What's your perspective?
You're going to see with the shifts, you're going to see North Carolina pick up at least 3 Republican seats, maybe 4, depending upon who the Republicans nominate in that 4th district. Texas, we have an opportunity to pick up a seat. At the same time, we're almost assuredly going to lose a seat in Louisiana. Republicans will lose a seat in Alabama, most likely. And the one left out is Wisconsin, which is like New York, going through its court challenges. And we'll see where Wisconsin lands. Right now it's a heavily Republican congressional districts, but there are some predictions that it could end up being a tied, same number of Democrats as Republicans coming to Congress.
Do you ever recall a time like this? I mean, because we've gone through, obviously, every 10 years, census data is submitted and calculated in the drawing of district lines. But here we are midway through a census already through the decade, and we still don't have maps in many states.
It happens about every 10 years, Joe.
Yeah.
Every time we have a redistribution of members of Congress, you have this. I mean, North Carolina, the joke, of course, is that they're professionals now at redistricting, because every year it takes them a couple cycles before the courts rule favorable to the districts that get drawn. Ohio's another one that historically has taken a couple, not always done it on the first round, has the legal battles all been done. So, we're going to see it again in another 10 years. Think about this. I mean, right now, California is set to lose another 5 seats. New York could lose seats as folks continue to population declines. So you're going to see this again in another 10 years as the parties fight out, how the districts are going to be drawn based off where the population has moved in their states.
And our problem in New York is that upstate keeps losing people, but New York City keeps growing, and they just have more of a grip on the state with some of the craziest legislation that, by the way, Senator Griffo has been warning about for the last 10 years. And it unfortunately didn't help, and they lost control of the Senate. I want to go with along the line of Joe's questioning, and that would be: have you ever seen a time like this? But I'll stop there. Just think about what you are faced with. We're probably looking at the two, and this is not a slight against anybody, but the two most polarizing candidates, unpopular, with such veracity. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Oh, we've had our years of battles. Let me say this: as you think about these upcoming elections, Republican states will become more Republican. Democratic states are likely to become more Democratic. And swing states, we'll see where they go. That's to be determined.
Yeah.
But we are not in a time of political realignment. We are in a time of political entrenchment. And if you look at where people are moving, it's not Democrats moving to Republican states or Republicans moving to Republican states. It's Republicans are leaving Democratic states and going to Republican states. Democrats are leaving Republican states, and you see that all through not only the census numbers, but also through the other studies of you look at the voter registration numbers, and those numbers are getting bigger. Florida's getting more Republicans. Texas is getting more Republicans. So you're going to see this. If you like the partisan nature of our politics these days, you're going to like it even more after this election, because that's where we're heading.
Yeah, it goes by the way of our TV habits, right? We watch what we want, what we agree with, and it's like we live in neighborhoods where people agree with us, I guess.
And I know you've got.
Hold on, Andrew, I got to get you up, and that is, go ahead, try it now.
And I know that we've got limited time, but I just want to say that could end up biting Republicans in the rear end, because a lot of the swing state Republicans have moved to those already Republican strongholds, so that may end up having electoral implications.
Yeah,
but,
how does that change the map?
Well, it's a good question, but
Yeah.
keep in mind, many of those move into those swing areas, and that's why you get states like Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. I mean, the reality is those are the states. There's about 6 states that will decide the election, and for Republicans, and you see some of the recent numbers coming out of Michigan, it's very encouraging, because you have voters who voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and then voted for Joe Biden in 2020. By almost a 7 out of every 10 independent voters now have major concerns about President Biden's ability to do the job over a 4-year period, that are now leaning towards voting for Trump again.
Yeah.
So in these states that are going to matter, and in these areas where you have persuadable Republicans and Democrats, right now it is the president's poor approval rating. And I mean, there isn't a single issue where voters say they think President Biden will do a better job than President Trump will do.
Yeah.
Then it gets down to other factors, right? And that's where the questions about whether he can sustain 4 more years becomes a major problem for him, beyond just all the issue problems he has.
Well, when you look at, you look at him now, you see the pictures on TV, you can see it for yourself. But when you look and compare to when he ran 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, to now, it's substantial. It is such a change. He has slowed down so much. It's unbelievable.
And whether it is true or not, it's what people believe.
Yeah.
And that's how people vote, on what they believe.
Yeah.
And people believe he is, a substantial number of voters believe he is in decline. And whether he is or isn't, the doctors will figure that out.
Yeah.
That's what people believe.
Chairman of GOPAC, David Avella, a pleasure and an honor to talk to you. We appreciate the time this morning. Thank you so much.
Look forward to it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, David.
All right. He's really good, Joe. He's good. We got a break. Hold on tight. It's 7:27. We're live at Daylight Donuts. You hear a little of the activity in the background. People have braved the snow. Assemblyman Brian Miller coming up in a second. We'll speak with him. And most schools are closed today. The roads really are slippery, and it is abnormal for us to be hit by a storm, isn't it?
It's rare this winter to see snow. I can't believe it. I almost forgot what it looked like.
It's kind of snowy out there. Okay, 7:27 at WIBX.
Why get an updated COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
It's easy to see. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh realities facing American families. We all know something big is coming, and that's why so many folks are preparing. They're becoming more self-reliant by investing in emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, and they make it easy for you to prepare. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure some emergency food kits. There's a dozen to choose from that contain tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, heirloom seeds for your garden, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your items will ship that same day. Time is short. Prepare today. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
It's time to stop letting road conditions dictate your journeys. Nokian tires, all-weather tires, are versatile enough for summer heat, spring rain, and winter snow. Just like you, Nokian tires' all-weather products are built for adventure in all conditions. Forget the forecast with a year-round tire approved for winter use. When you purchase 4 Nokian tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free in the month of February at Tolman's Tire and Auto Repair. Visit our stores in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tolmanstire.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
That's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We are told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Well, you wonder why I always...
Celebrate the Man in Black and his greatest song.
I fell into a burning...
Johnny Cash, live on screen.
Of a sleeping city sidewalk.
Experience his legendary voice with a live band and singers.
Coming down.
Sunday, March 10th, 7 p.m., presented by Broadway Utica at the Stanley Theater. For tickets, visit BroadwayUtica.org.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And we're back here at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford in the midst of some snow and some very inclement weather. And Joe, I'm going to give you this and let you handle this. And then just jot down the name, all the information for me if you could. Joe is our producer today. He's producing the program. We're talking about Senator Joe Griffo. Andrew, you know how normally I'll call Andrew and be like, what the heck? You don't have anybody booked for tomorrow. Last night, Andrew was calling Joe Griffo, what the heck?
You got nothing.
What
you
are
got
you doing,
nothing on
man?
this program.
What are you doing? This isn't like Albany. Anyway, we're going to be. This is going to be very interesting, and then we're going to talk to. Okay, good. And then we're going to talk to Assemblyman Brian Miller, and also Mary Ann, Assemblywoman. But right now, if I can pull all this off here,
You want me to do the intro while you're getting that
You
ready?
do the intro, Joe, if you could. Because this is a perfect day to have this gentleman on as the snow is coming down.
So we're fortunate to have with us Frank Hoare, who's the acting executive director of the New York State Thruway Authority. I've worked with Frank over the years. He's very talented and very credentialed. He's now been nominated to head the Thruway Authority. I know it's been probably a busy night for his crews and everything, but we thought it'd be good to have Frank on because I know, Bill, you always have a lot of questions about what's happening on the Thruway. Frank can give you a perspective of some of the decisions that were made, how and why they're made, and what he sees for the future right now. So I want to thank Frank for being with us. And with us also, Frank, right now, Assemblywoman Bunshon and Assemblyman Miller have just joined us. They're on another mic. So we'll let Bill talk to you quickly. But thanks for making the time today.
Frank, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for the invitation to be with you.
So Joe said I could ask whatever I want, and I'm going to say, when in the hell is the Thruway going to be free? You promised this was going to be free. I mean, you have to have heard that one a few times, huh?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yes, sir. I have heard that, and it's a great question. I frequently get that question.
Yeah. I personally, if I could, I'm of the belief that I like seeing people from Pennsylvania and Florida and Texas paying for our Thruway, to be honest.
Well, that's a good point. That's one of the points. 17% of those that ride on the Thruway are from out of state. But the main reason why we have a toll system is because that decision was made by the legislature and the governor in 1992. Governor Mario Cuomo in the late 80s appointed a commission of legislators and citizens to take a look at the issue as to what was the best way to fund the Thruway, because obviously it costs money to operate and maintain a Thruway. So after several years of study, they came up with the recommendation, and the legislature adopted it, that it would be a toll system as opposed to free. And the main reason they did that was because it is paid for by the people who use it. So Thruway is not supported. Thruway is not in the New York State budget, so we don't get the tax dollars. So we operate and maintain and build on the Thruway by the toll revenues that we receive. 90% of the revenue we receive is from tolls, and we take that money and pour it right back into the maintenance and operation and building of the Thruway. In this coming year, 2024, we will be spending $451 million on our capital program just to rebuild the system, because obviously it is something that has to. It's a constant need to operate, maintain, and rebuild on a system that's approaching 70 years.
So, talking about that, how is the toll booth free Thruway doing? You hear a lot of people complaining they've had maybe they received a bill and they hadn't even driven in New York, or people who may get those bills in the mail out of state and they don't pay them. What are the numbers of collection? Are we doing okay when it comes to collections?
We are doing very well in revenue collection. Again, when we went to the cashless system, that was done for a variety of reasons. It was done to make your trips quicker, safer, and more better for the environment. So we are accomplishing that. Again, 96% of people who drive and incur a toll pay their bills. So we have 4% that we have to continually chase for that. The vast majority of that is out of state, and it's out of state trucking companies.
Okay.
So we try very hard. We have a variety of attempts to collect those tolls. In terms of folks who you get a mistaken bill or there's an issue with their bill, first I would note that we've hit over 1.1 billion transactions since the cashless tolling system went into effect 3 years ago. So we have over a billion transactions. A small percentage of those have issues or mistakes or need to be looked at.
Yep.
And I understand that if you're one of the people who there was a mistake on your bill, the fact that we have over a billion transactions doesn't impress you.
Sure.
What we try and do very hard is work with our customers to resolve those issues. We have a toll payer advocate who works for the Thruway, whose only job and focus is to work with customers to resolve any issues or answer their questions. And we have a customer service center with an 800 number that folks can call if they have any issues. So we work very hard to make sure that our customers receive the quality trip care that they're entitled to.
I will say the website has improved, the EasyPass website. It was very clunky maybe 5-10 years ago. That has definitely improved, and I've been an EasyPass customer for quite some time. I really appreciate EasyPass. Joe Griffo.
No, and I know that Frank is, we've had conversations too about what they can do, even with the look of the bill, when people are reading the bill, to make it easier to comprehend. And so I know they're continuing to examine and determine maybe different ways or methods that the public will have the ability to read when they get a bill. And they're also working on more aggressively, I think, on interstate agreements, so that there can be consequences for those who abscond and do not pay their bills coming from other states. Is that accurate, Frank?
I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, Senator, but I think you were asking about bills from other states.
Yeah, the agreements with other states,
Right, they're called reciprocity agreements. So we have an agreement with Massachusetts currently. We are negotiating and with Pennsylvania to have a reciprocity agreement. New Jersey has to do it we can only enter through legislation. New Jersey just passed that legislation less than a month ago. So we are going to be working with them to get a reciprocity agreement. And the other local state that is Connecticut that is not interested in a reciprocity agreement because they don't have tolls. So we work hard. We're also part of the International Tolling Trade Group, and we are constantly working and speaking with them to see how we can do a better job.
Yeah.
Every tolling agency I speak with, they have the same issue, the same challenges in collecting that very small percentage of folks who don't pay. As I say, it's the commercial trucking companies that really are at the top and owe the most.
Do you think there's ever going to come a time that, you mentioned towing, ever going to come a time that the Thruway would allow AAA?
Well, we work with and talk with AAA in terms of we have agreements now with towing companies to respond to the Thruway, and then they often take cars just off our system, and then
you pick up. Yeah.
If somebody's in AAA, they like to work with them.
Okay.
So we see them as a partner, and we're constantly working with them and speaking with them to ensure that their customers and their patrons get the best service possible.
Fair enough. We're speaking with Frank Hoare. He is the New York State Thruway Acting Executive Director. Frank, Assemblywoman Marianne Buttenshaw.
One of the concerns that our local farmers have is transporting fresh products throughout the state. And we're looking at trying to reprieve some of the charges that they incur on the Thruway. I just want you to keep that on your radar and consider it a very important issue.
All right. I have somebody else asking, Frank, can you ask, how do you go about reaching a toll advocate?
Well, our customer service center is at 800-333-8655. Let me say that again, 800-333-8655. It's a toll-free number. They can call in there and speak with a customer service rep. And that customer service rep can pull up your bill right there and walk through it and might answer your questions.
And Frank, I was going to offer you an idea, a great store to add to the throwaway rest areas would be Hobby Lobby. They're also closed on Sundays. So I'm wondering, is that the one big question you hear? You built these beautiful brand new rest areas, and now on Sundays, one of the most popular restaurants is closed.
Well, we get that question. Why do we have a restaurant that's closed one day a week? Again, we don't have, Thruway does not have a direct contract with Chick-fil-A. That we contract with a company to operate and run the service areas. So they in turn turned around and picked the food vendors that you see there at the respective 27 service areas. Now we went with the food vendors you see are the result of direct discussions with our customers. We went out, we spoke to people, asked them what did they want to see, and Chick-fil-A and Panera and the other food vendors you see are the direct result of those discussions with our customers. And I think it proves the fact when you walk in and you see the amount of people that are using Chick-fil-A. I think it confirms that we made the right choice.
And then I really am curious about this, and I want you to know I've defended the new rest areas because I do think the choices, the fresh food, the grab and go stuff you have. I'm on the Thruway a lot, and however, some are bigger, some are smaller. And it's the big question. It's like, why did they build the small ones? My guess has been that you did research, some sort of research that showed that it would work that way. Can you explain how you guys went about that?
You're absolutely right. When we were building these, making the plans to build, it was based on how the traffic, the cars pulling in, the amount of people, time of day that they use the service areas. So from that data, we came up with 3 different sizes. So there are some that are very large, and some that are a little smaller. When they first started opening up about 15 months ago, the first several that opened up were the smaller ones. And just because of construction schedule, now larger ones have opened up. We're getting good reviews on them, and as each one opens up, they're less crowded because there's just more. As we speak here, 13 are open. 13 out of 27 are opened this morning. We have another one opening up next week, and then there'll be another 3 by July.
Okay.
So just in your area, in the Mohawk Valley, you have 4. You have the Indian Castle and Oneida on the east sides of it, and then Schuyler and Iroquois on the west. So we're on track to open and to complete all 27 by the end of next year, the end of 2025.
Okay. And then I do have Mike who's saying, I'm glad you have a toll-free number when you call the Thruway, which is a toll highway. I think that's kind of funny. A little irony there, I guess. Anybody else have any other questions? Frank, we could keep you for hours because the questions are coming in. Like, you need more bathrooms. And I'm sure you hear this wherever you go and you say, I'm the acting executive director of the New York State Thruway. I'm sure the minute people hear that, they have comments.
Well, we get questions all the time. I mean, people are curious as to, again, how we arrived at some of those decisions as you have pointed out. But I must tell you, the reviews are good. They get better. Most folks are very happy that the new service areas are new.
Yeah.
They're cleaner. They're airier, and there's a lot of amenities on them. Several have amenities just for our commercial trucking patrons. Others, they all have playgrounds and a variety of bathrooms and areas, bigger areas in which to sit. So the vast majority of comments I get from the legislature and the public is positive. And we will continue. Look, it's an ongoing process, and we will continue to take suggestions and comments and work very hard to provide the best quality. Just this week, Senator Griffin and I sat down, spoke about the billing process, spoke about the service areas and a variety of issues, and we appreciate the partnership with the senator and the assemblywoman and their colleagues in the legislature.
All right. And by the way, how fast do you drive when you're on the thruway? What's the safe speed?
I drive the posted speed limit.
Okay, I figured you were going to say that. So, all right. Well,
Frank, good answer.
Very good answer. Frank Hoare is the New York State Thruway Acting Executive Director. Thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. And obviously, people should drive safely today and every day, but look out for those crews. And before you know it, it'll be construction time. And you want to be so careful and pull over into the other lane and all that stuff to keep those men and women safe.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for pointing that out.
All right.
We want everyone to return home in the evening from their from their work.
Well, thanks so much, Frank. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity to visit.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
That was a good grab, Joe. I gotta say, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we had a
I
great.
spent a lot of time on the thruway, and so do all of you. You guys do.
Had great conversation. Tolls are a problem, and I think they just put a toll hike in, and we talk about exemptions for different segments of society, but overall, I think if we could have a general reduction, and there are costs associated with operation and maintenance, but that's an issue. That's why I have advanced the idea that we have to have a comprehensive review, just as when the thruway was first thought of by Governor Dewey. Let's re-examine it. Let's reimagine what it could and should be, with all of these factors taken into consideration. And we'll see if that happens, but that's the suggestion I've made, because I think we're at that point. I think Frank and his crew do a good job, but it's always there's an opportunity for us to continue to evaluate and reimagine what it could and should be.
I will say it seems like there are longer lines for the bathrooms than there ever were. But at least the bathrooms are clean and not disgusting like they were getting pretty bad for a while. I want to bring in Assemblyman Brian Miller and Marianne Buttonshaw, Assemblywoman. You guys, I'll let you guys share a mic there, and good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Well, it's stopped snowing out.
It has. There's even there's blue sky up there.
We got some blue sky. I know I was out shoveling this morning at 4:15. We hit about 4 inches on the ground.
It hit pretty hard, pretty fast.
I came down here. We hit another 6 on the driveway.
Wow. Wow, you guys got hit then.
So we got some snow, and I guess winter's going to be here for a little while longer.
I'm afraid it is. And so is the debate over the congressional maps. Marianne, what are your thoughts? Here you are in the majority. What are you going to take back with you on these maps?
What I've heard is leave it alone, and I agree. I mean, it's such a difficult.
Do you think that's possible?
I do, only because if from what I've been advised, we only have a 2% margin, anyways.
Yeah.
Afterward, and
it's not that big of a. It's not that big of a change.
Yes.
The worst change is for our district, it seems.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And again, I think the hardest component is if you look within the constituents' eyes, who represents me, and to keep changing it and not having a clear understanding. I know your earlier guest talked about we're not the only state that has this issue.
Yeah.
It continues and continues. So maybe we need to take a look at how we determine the decision has been made. It's bipartisan. Let's move forward.
So I just want to clarify. Are you saying that you think that within the Democratic majority that we might end up leaving everything as it is right now?
I'm talking for Mary Ann Button, Sean.
Okay.
I'm not
All
going
right. Not for everybody else.
We haven't conferenced it. We'll be
Okay.
conferencing a couple times next week.
All right.
So,
what do you think the chances of that happening
I
are?
think the chances are pretty good because prior to that, we hear the importance again of who represents me.
Yeah,
And are we
yeah.
going to keep switching this? And to me, it's not appropriate.
There's one member of the assembly who's actually okay with the change in the district from the last time, and that is Assemblyman Brian Miller, who doesn't have to travel 3/4 of the state in order to.
The district now is very manageable. Let's stay at a congressional district.
Yeah.
I'd much rather see Oneida County stay whole. Okay.
Yeah, this is
it's going to be a
terrible.
little confusion there. I can't remember before if it was whole. Well, it was whole with Congressman Williams.
I think the best time was under, what was it, Joe, with Sherry Bullard? Wasn't it Utica, Rome, the Valley, and then we went down into Binghamton? That was the best scenario for us, anyway. This is not good.
Yeah, I mean, the county's been split up before, unfortunately. There was a time when Rome was represented by a Rochester representative. I think Congressman Horton was the individual at the time. So it's happened, but it's unfortunate, and I wish we could have kept it together.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is what happens when you start drawing lines like this, and that's why the people of New York said they didn't want this. You had, and this is what frustrates me, is it was done last year, and it gave everybody fair fights across the state. But, you had people that wanted to try to make it bluer, and that's where we are right now. So we'll see ultimately what happens. I have a member of the Senate that has come out and already said that he wants the maps rejected, a Senate Majority member down in the Hudson Valley, Senator Skoufis. He was potentially a candidate for Congress and doesn't like the way, because it's splitting up Orange County, I believe. And they made a district redder for Congressman Molinaro and bluer for Congressman Ryan. So which basically freezes him out now, I think. If he was looking at some potential future opportunities and options.
And it's things like this that create no one getting into the race, people running unopposed, because why would you run? A Democrat can't beat a Republican anymore. A Republican can't beat a Democrat, depending on the district you're talking about. I mean, it can happen, but it's...
Well, hopefully we vote on these things next week and get this thing done, because, we got petitions coming up on the 27th, and, it's going to just create confusion all over the place.
I don't know that there's a hurry to do that, because I think people need to discuss this and evaluate it. The public have not even weighed in on this, so I think they're already late. They could have done this a couple of weeks earlier, so I just feel that they should at least give it some time for people to discuss this, to evaluate it, and give input.
Your thoughts, Mary Ann?
Yes, I believe we'll conference a couple times next week, and to Joe's point, to hear from the residents. But what I've heard is, let's not do this, let's not move forward, let's keep them the way they were.
Yeah, okay.
So, the folks that I represent.
What do you think on that, Joe?
Well, I don't know that they're going to be able to. I think I agree. I think people want to keep it the way it is, but I don't know that that's possible anymore unless the legislature goes back, because I give you the process again. They either have to have a 2/3 vote to affirm, or a simple majority to reject. And if they reject, then they have to draw the lines. And I don't know that the legislature drawing these lines, and the proof was the last time, is going to make it the way it was.
Right.
So I think it's a good objective, but I think you're going to see a vote on these lines. And if they reject it, I think it brings chaos again, because if it's drawn, then both parties could potentially litigate in some fashion.
But if we do the changes, it's only a 2% margin that we have the ability, correct? That's what we've been advised. So is it really worth making those changes, has been the discussion that we're hoping to say, is 2%, what's the purpose?
I agree, but I think, again, if that's the case, the maps would have been left alone, and it was the majorities who challenged the Democratic Party, who challenged these maps, that brought us to where we are today. So I don't know what's going to happen in that either caucus. The conferences like Assemblywoman is talking about, that's something that they'll know. But it's a mess either way. It's a mess, and if it does stand the way it is, we lose here in Oneida County because you split it in half, and I think we are communities of similar interest here and should have been respected. No different than Onondaga County was.
Sure.
And but we'll make it work whatever way it ultimately presents itself.
And Marianne, you're saying keep it the way it is now, not the way they've drawn the maps up.
No, keep it the way it is now.
Yeah.
We don't need to. I guess to the one point I think as Joe brings up is this should have been done some time ago. It was done some time ago. The commission spoke, bipartisan. We're in budget season.
Yeah.
We are in a very significant time where we're having discussions with individuals that are, as yesterday with our highway superintendents, case in point this morning, the roads are passable and wonderful. So, I mean,
you have
let's go back to what we're supposed to be looking at.
The governor's plan for education funding, which has everybody up in arms.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to talk about.
To Bill's earlier point about, we've got primaries coming up in June, and this could change a lot of things. If your point is that these get rejected next week or the following week with a vote, how will that impact those primaries?
Well, I'll let Brian speak because he's here too, but from my perspective, it really wouldn't affect the date. It may affect access, like the number of signatures, things of that nature.
I want to go to Brian. I got 30 seconds. By the way, you two are wearing the same shirt. I love it.
Well, I called them earlier.
You did. Very nice.
Well, that's what I was going to say, and they're blue.
Yes.
I'm wearing red.
Yeah, well, look at this is true bipartisan.
There you go.
It is.
I was going to say the same thing. It's just going to affect the amount of signatures required, and it's just going to make more chaos.
It's just going to make more chaos.
It's like when our lines were redrawn in the assembly last time.
Yep.
They moved us one town.
Right.
Okay?
Right. The change wasn't that huge.
They could have left it alone.
Right.
There was no difference, and it's.
Brian, thank you. Marianne, thank you. Joe, thanks you. It was part of Joe time here this morning. And thank you for braving the weather. I do appreciate it. So, a lot of snow out there. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 8 o'clock.
It's personal. I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. Fani Willis, the Georgia prosecutor trying former President Trump and others in an election racketeering case, faces questions on the stand about her personal relationship with the prosecutor she hired to oversee it, Nathan Wade.
Roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you?
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
It was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
Willis testified, too, saying she's done nothing wrong. Fox's Brooke Singman.
I spoke exclusively with former President Trump after Willis's testimony yesterday, and he tells me, quote, "It is so badly tainted, the case will have to be dropped. There is no way they can have a case. The whole thing was a scam to get money for the boyfriend." Fulton County DA Fani Willis was quite combative on the stand, receiving several cautionary warnings from the judge. And while Fani Willis testifies again today in Atlanta, former President Trump is awaiting a ruling in the New York civil fraud trial stemming from Attorney General Letitia James's lawsuit against him and his businesses.
James is seeking a $370 million fine and a ban on Trump doing business in the state of New York. Former President Trump's New York hush money case starts next month.
They want to rush it because they want to get it desperately before the election.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg argues Trump mislabeled reimbursements to his former attorney, Michael Cohen, for hush money payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels and former Playboy model Karen McDougal. But to charge Trump with a felony, Bragg will have to prove the former president did that to conceal another crime, a crime Bragg didn't specify in the indictment, but prosecutors say involves federal and state campaign finance violations.
Fox's Nate Foy in New York. Russia's prison service has imprisoned opposition leader Alexei Navalny has died after feeling unwell and collapsing after taking a walk. Navalny was 47 and had survived poisoning attempts. A film about his life won an Oscar for Best Documentary Feature last year. America's listening to Fox News.
Hello, America. It's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you don't have Consumer Cellular yet, now is the perfect time to switch and save. For a limited time, new customers can get wireless service for as low as $15 a month for your first year. Yep, the same exact nationwide coverage as the leading carriers for $15 a month for an entire year. What are you waiting for? Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and use code RADIO15.
See consumercellular.com/firstyear15 for promotional details.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
An FBI informant is arrested, accused of passing along false information about President Biden and his son Hunter. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
An FBI informant was arrested at the Las Vegas airport and charged with lying to federal agents about ties between President Biden, his son Hunter, and the Ukrainian energy company Burisma. Federal prosecutors say Alexander Smirnov falsely told the FBI that executives at Burisma paid Hunter Biden and the then vice president $5 million each in 2015 and 2016 as part of a bribery scheme. The original allegation sparked calls from Republicans in Congress to release FBI documents as part of their investigation in the foreign business dealings of the Biden family. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, Congress is still trying to come up with a deal on border security. Fox's Ryan Schmelz at the Capitol.
House Homeland Security Committee Chairman Mark Green tells Fox News Radio he's working with a bipartisan group of House and Senate lawmakers on a deal for border security.
We're coming up with our list of, what we think the minimums are to get the border secure right now.
Chairman Green wouldn't say who he's working with. The Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus is also working on a deal that would include border security and foreign aid to Ukraine and Israel. This comes after a compromise negotiated by senators failed to get enough support after conservatives claimed it didn't do enough to secure the border and progressive Democrats felt it went too far. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
A missing Tennessee sheriff's deputy is found in his patrol car submerged in a river with a woman he'd arrested dead in the back seat. Deputy R.J. Leonard was 35 years old, married with 3 kids, a rookie with the department for 2 months. Our preliminary report notes he appeared to be texting and radioing while driving in a poorly lit area he was unfamiliar with, missed a turn, and ended up in the water. He texted his wife, "Arrest," and her response never made it to his phone. I'm Chris Foster. This is Fox News.
Listen, I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
It's 9:50 news time, 8:05. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now it is 25 degrees with light snow here in New Hartford, although we're seeing some sun through the clouds. It's trying to break through. We'll have your full forecast coming up. This update brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going. Well, there is a delay in the MVHS parking garage, and Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacenti not happy about it. The delay is said to be a season delay, and it looks like the garage will not be finished until likely this summer. We'll have the county executive in our makeshift studio here at Daylight Donuts in just a few minutes to get his thoughts on that, but looks like that project delayed significantly. The Independent Redistricting Commission has voted to make changes to Central New York's biggest congressional district, and that's ours. Under the plan, the 22nd, that is represented by first-term Republican Congressman Brandon Williams, would cover all of Onondaga and Madison counties, part of Cayuga, and only partial Oneida County, Cortland County as well. The maps now go to the state legislature for final approval. An investigation is underway into what led up to a bullet being found on a school bus in Baldwinsville. Authorities say the bullet was discovered yesterday by a student who was riding to Reynolds Elementary School. The superintendent says it's believed the bullet was seen on the ground before being brought on the bus, but just who had it is being looked into. A 16-year-old has been arrested. Utica police charging the teen in connection with a vehicle-pedestrian collision and shots fired incident that took place in January. UPD released information about a serious injury after a vehicle-pedestrian collision on South Street and Taylor Avenue, in which a male was intentionally struck by a vehicle, followed by a 14-year-old juvenile firing a handgun at the fleeing vehicle. Officials said a 16-year-old male has been identified as the driver. Due to his age, the driver's identity will not be released. However, the teen is charged with assault and various New York State vehicle and traffic violations. And car enthusiasts from around the area will be heading to Syracuse this weekend to check out the 115th Syracuse Auto Expo. The event continues today at the On Center on South State Street and will run through Sunday. The Syracuse Automobile Dealers Association has been putting on the show since its inception. There will be hundreds of vehicles for folks to check out. Additional details can be found at autoexpo-syracuse.com. It is 8:08. Your weather forecast is brought to you by Tony Danza. Standards and Stories coming to the Stanley Center for the Performing Arts. You can get tickets at the Stanley box office or online.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, windy, colder, lake snow and snow showers. Additional minor accumulation. Roads will be slick and slippery for the morning commute. A high of 32. Tonight, redeveloping lake effect snow showers and flurries. Cold, a low of 19. And tomorrow, blustery, colder, more lake effect snow and snow showers. A high of 28. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Light snow here in New Hartford, 25 degrees. It is 8:09. In sports, the Utica University Men's Pioneers will close out their regular season tonight and tomorrow versus Arcadia at the Adirondack Bank Center. The puck drops tonight at 7 p.m., tomorrow at 2 p.m. Ahead of the 7 p.m. puck drop for the Utica Comets home game. The ice crew will be busy at the Adirondack Bank Center this weekend. The Comets taking on the Senators of Belleville tomorrow at 7 p.m. Also want to let you know that the NBA All-Star Weekend is getting underway in Indianapolis. The events kick off tonight with Rising Stars Challenge and Celebrity Game. The festivities continue Saturday with a three-point contest, slam dunk contest, skills challenge, and an NBA HBCU Classic game. This year will also feature a three-point contest between Steph Curry and WNBA star Sabrina Ionescu. Major League Baseball Commissioner and Rome native Rob Manfred is planning to step down from his position when his term in office expires in 2029. The 65-year-old replaced Bud Selig as the league's commissioner in January 2015 and has since been given a pair of 5-year terms. Owners voted last summer to give Manfred a third term. He has worked with Major League Baseball since 1987, first as outside counsel and then as a chief negotiator for labor matters. And a story that Mets fans will pay attention to. Former Major League outfielder Lenny Dykstra is recovering from a stroke at a Los Angeles hospital. According to the New York Post, former Mets teammates Darryl Strawberry and Kevin Mitchell say that Dykstra was in good spirits and set to undergo further evaluation at UCLA Medical Center. He has been moved out of intensive care and will likely be hospitalized into next week. Dykstra was on the '86 Mets championship team with Strawberry and Mitchell and played for New York from 1985 to 1989. Also, Syracuse playing tomorrow against Georgia Tech.
I gotta say, he was a mess.
Yes.
Dykstra.
Still, I
alcohol,
still
drugs.
think is. I still think
and it's, there's probably a good chance that that's what caused the stroke. Maybe this is the intervention. I don't know, but a disaster. And it's a wonder he's still alive today.
Well, you look at, mentioning Darryl Strawberry, he was able to get himself recovered.
Yeah, he's clean.
He's had a battle a long
Dwight
time.
Gooden,
You got to know,
same
too,
problem.
with situations like that, it can rear its ugly head at any time. So if there's anybody that Lenny Dykstra needs now, it's Darryl Strawberry, and luckily he's got him by his side, and hopefully this, like as you said, will be the intervening event.
All right. And by the way, the Pioneers, with a couple of wins this weekend, should get, in their conference, should get a number one seed. The conference gets an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. And by the way, the conference tournament begins this Wednesday already for UCHC and the Utica Pioneers. All right. Hold tight. We'll come back here. We're live at Daylight Donuts.
It's picking up. People are holding court.
In New Hartford, people are hanging out despite the snow, and we'll come right back. Hold tight. It's 8:12 at WIBX.
It seems like everywhere you look right now, someone is sick. This year, prepare your family for airborne invaders like bacteria, pollen, and yes, germs with Navage Nasal Care.
Navage flushes ultra-pure, refreshing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. Navage sucks out viruses, dust, and other airborne particles, all the stuff that gets trapped in your nose, making you miserable. Don't get caught empty-handed this winter. Get Navage, the drug-free solution that helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Even better, Navage is HSA, FSA eligible, so Navage is a great way to spend those funds before they expire. Don't wait a minute longer. Buy Navage today and you'll breathe easier knowing you're putting your funds to good use. Navage is available online at Navage.com or Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
The Rome Capitol Theater presents the return of Cartoon Madness, starting Monday, February 19th through Saturday, February 24th. This year's theme character is Wile E. Coyote, who will be featured in many of the 12 classic Warner Brothers cartoons. Matinees run daily at 3 with an additional evening screening on Saturday at 7. Cartoon Madness, all next week at the Rome Capitol Theater. For more information, visit RomeCapitol.com.
That's all, folks.
Adirondack Home Furniture's Flex Steel Big Game Sale is going on now, but only for a limited time. Hurry in for discounts up to 15% off select sofas, recliners, occasional pieces, and leather furniture. With hundreds of designer fabrics to choose from, your new piece is guaranteed to have the look you want. Stop dreaming and start creating the home of your dreams with quality, long-lasting Flex Steel furniture from Adirondack Home Furniture. Beauty and comfort is made to last with Flex Steel's exclusive lifetime warranty blue steel spring seating. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and save up to 15% during their big game sale. Visit their Flex Steel gallery for the best selection of Flex Steel furniture on sale. The best value and top quality furniture for your home is at Adirondack Home Furniture. You don't want to miss out on the Flex Steel Big Game Sale at Adirondack Home Furniture. Hurry in, sale ends soon. Located at the former Riverside Mall, Horatio Street, Utica.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Pure Talk believes in American values and that free should mean exactly that, free. Well, switch to Pure Talk today and you'll get a free Samsung 5G smartphone. Now, qualifying plans start at just $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and, of course, mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Start saving on wireless today and switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk.
The Potting Shed Antiques in Whitesboro is buying silver, gold-filled, vintage costume, estate jewelry, and U.S. and Canadian coins. They've been your hometown buyer for the past 52 years. While other gold and silver buyers claim to offer the highest prices, the Potting Shed Antiques actually delivers. Let Don Hartman take a look at your individual pieces or your entire collection. The Potting Shed Antiques, open Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Please call ahead for an appointment. Visit thepottingshedantique.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And we're back on the Phil Stern Show. Yeah.
And we're back.
That's for Davey. Davey doing a great job. I'll run out of time and not thank you, but special thank you goes back to the studio. Davey, nice down. Davey.
Doing on YouTube because he's the one you can see, right?
You can see Davey on YouTube.
Just remember, you're on YouTube, Davey.
We're watching Davey. Everything you do. Everything okay back there?
Yes, sir. Everything's good.
All right. You're looking good.
Play a little Rockwell.
You're looking good.
Somebody's watching you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's a little throwback right there. Okay, we're live at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Special thanks to the ladies here and the gentlemen making the donuts. They're making the donuts this morning.
Time to make the donuts, guy.
Great product, great service here, but the temperature's probably about 18 in the place, I think, right now.
Well, it's only because you're warm-blooded. I'm saying you complain every time you're in my studio.
Coming from Mr. Freeze here, right, Andrew?
I'm just right. I think it's perfect.
Do you have a cameo on the next Batman movie as Mr. Freeze, potentially?
Mr. Freeze. That'll be me. So, okay. We're hearing from Ed Welch that, what do you have? And we were talking to that was a good grab to get the executive director of the New York State Thruway. And I asked him, when can you use AAA on the Thruway? If you break down the Thruway, or God forbid run out of gas or something, you have to call. You can't call a friend. It's against the law. Like if you had somebody meet you, you have to get somebody who is a New York State approved. You can't call AAA. But Ed
Welsh is saying this morning, he sent a text message in that AAA has had an agreement with the Thruway to accept AAA membership since the early 2000s. I chaired the committee that entered into the agreement, which took almost 5 years to negotiate.
All right, what do we know, Joe?
So I'm not aware of that. My understanding was that there are certain sectors of the Thruway that's divided up. I'm not sure how they do the zones. But in those zones, they have rotating tow service if there's an accident. Because you couldn't have individuals just calling whoever they want to come on the Thruway. At least that's my understanding. In fact, we had a constituent who was involved in an accident recently and had a similar experience where once the state troopers, and that's Troop T of the state police, that have the Thruway responsibility, when they respond and they notify on some rotating schedule those who have the contract within that area. In fact, we have the Thruway Authority looking into this particular case because there was some concerns of how it was handled. And so my understanding is you just can't choose who you want. You get into an accident or have a problem, you call this number, the state police normally will respond, and then they make the determination as to what's needed, and they go off this revolving list that exists in each different region of the Thruway. Now,
so
you're eligible.
So you can't call AAA?
I mean, maybe there's one of those service recognized tow companies in that area.
You know what
AAA.
happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. The minute Ed Welch retired from AAA, they're like, okay, he's gone. Let's switch it back.
Let's get him out of here.
That's my understanding. But again, that would be better addressed by the authority itself.
So you're saying that you have a constituent who they were unable to call AAA on the Thruway. They were upset about it. They reached out to your office, and you guys looked into it.
No, what happened is there was an accident, and they didn't like the way it all took. What happened there?
But they reached out to you,
and rightly so. Yes, and they did reach out to me, and I know them personally.
Okay.
And,
well, my point is, I was trying to give you an opportunity to talk about constituent services.
Oh, okay.
I thought I just gave you a slow pitch right there, Joe.
Yeah, you did. Well, we're always trying to represent people and to look into problems, as you know.
And one of your great people is right over here who really helps a lot of people out in Deanna.
Yes, Deanna Stafford's here. She handles constituent services. There are a number of cases that we can't talk about, a lot of cases, similar to like in medicine where, respect people's privacy. That's why I'm not giving you names right now. But you can see us involved and engaged in a variety of different service to
you have an issue, you can make a phone call, you can reach out to Senator Griffith's office, and actually constituent services is a big part of every representative. So it may be Mary Ann, you might be calling Brian Miller, or any of your representatives. That's what you guys are there for.
Yeah, it's a lot of activity takes place regarding that. Simple questions.
I have
issues that people have with agencies of the state. Some are very complicated, and that's what we try to navigate. And we have been successful in resolving some serious issues.
One constituent has an issue with you right now. He's on the line.
Here is Ed Welch. Ed, good morning. Thanks for calling in.
Morning, guys. I hope you can hear me okay.
I got you. Yep, perfect.
I recognize that there's some confusion, but everything said was somewhat correct. Number one, you just can't call AAA yourself and have them come out there. So you cannot do that. It's a controlled highway. However, with that said, is if you break down and whomever the throughway sends, if you present your AAA card to them, they will accept it.
I see. I did not know that.
Okay.
And
Wow.
and they also have the mechanism to actually check the membership to see if it's valid.
Okay. All right. So so prior to 2000, though, you were stuck with, and you'd get
Absolutely. It was
hammered.
it was the biggest complaint we had from members because we would reimburse them for the services.
I did not know that either.
But so
I've
people
saved my
didn't like
receipts.
the idea of
I'm
having to put the cash out and having to come back and get reimbursement.
All right. Well, that's great to. That's a big plus right there,
That's
Joe.
a very big plus.
Well,
It's
it
something
took
that
a
we
long
really.
time to negotiate, and it was a very arduous negotiation. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and that thanks, Ed, for clarifying. That's an important thing because I've been a AAA member for a long time, and even then, there's differences in the regions of AAA. Because I always wanted to work with Ed, but because we were in Rome, we went to the Western region or something.
Okay.
But it's all covered, and it's still AAA.
Yeah,
That's an excellent point.
All right, Ed. That's good stuff as always. We
I
appreciate.
hope it helps, guys.
We appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. That is Ed Welch, and that's pretty good. I didn't know that even existed.
And look at how succinct he was. Imagine if we were back on, what was the show called that he did for 3 hours?
Auto Talk.
Auto Talk.
Yep.
That was a long Saturday morning for Ed every Saturday.
It
He did a
was.
great job with it.
He nailed it in about 2 minutes right here. All right, making his way into our what are you calling it? The makeshift radio studio here at Daylight Donuts is the one and only County Executive Anthony Pacini. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be. Is it snow time or Joe time?
It's snow time.
Which is
Yeah.
it?
I got to tell you, this morning it was really bad.
It was.
Yeah.
bad all night. I mean, we got a
tough
lot of
ride in.
snow. In Rome. I mean,
I hate the snow. I want to be clear.
well, it's been a long time since we saw it.
What
so.
is this stuff? This stuff they call snow. I listen. We've been pretty spoiled, haven't we?
We have.
Although, so I keep fearing of. We were talking about 2007 when it was like this all winter long. We got to Valentine's Day, had what was close to a blizzard, 3 feet of snow here, if you remember.
Yeah, that was like
and then it snowed every day for a month and a half. And winter didn't seem like it was ever going to end. The good news is if you look to the extended forecast, we're in the 40s next week. So
and that's actually a good segue to what we want to ask you about this morning with the beautiful weather we've had. What is the explanation as
what
to
are they telling
why
you?
this garage has been delayed?
Well, yeah.
we were just talking about
having
it open for the Olympic Women's Olympic event.
I'm not happy about it, obviously, the just simple, misconception that it was making progress and nobody was telling us that it really wasn't making progress, and that that's a problem. And there are two main issues that preventing it from completion over the next couple months. I mean, we were told it was supposed to be in the spring, but between the stairways and between the elevators, which are not yet installed and are delayed because of steel and some other things, and manpower is still an issue on construction jobs.
I was going to ask about that.
That's really that's becoming more of a problem. I mean, just and you guys know, I think Joe knows it. I mean, the county building, we've been trying to get our entranceway open for the last few months, and it was scheduled at the end of December, and here we are in the middle of February. We're not. Manpower is really tough on these construction jobs, but so we're still facing supply issues, and I'm not happy about it. I'm sure that residents are, and I share that. We're going to stay on it and see if it gets, if there's any way it can get expedited, but right now it's
supply chain.
I can't even give a date. I can't even. I would be.
Wow.
I would be.
When you're hearing it's behind by a season, that's something you don't normally hear.
No, and especially because we're talking snow just a minute ago.
Yeah,
We've had a great two winters that we've gone through the construction of this project, and so I can't blame Well, we got a foot of snow or 2 feet of snow or
Yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta shut down and all that.
It's ironic, though, too, because you mentioned it's the elevators and the stairways, which was the first thing to be installed in the hospital. You would see that the frame went up and then the elevator goes in.
Well,
structural steel is still a problem.
I would say, though, that I would want to, supply of employees, all that stuff, but I would say that it's one thing we don't want any corners cut.
No,
anyway,
and look, we cannot, there's no, even when you talk about this kind of project, there is no, we'll open it up partially. You can't do that because it's got to be safe. It's got to have exits that are proper and safe, and whether it's stairways or elevators or both. And you've got 3 elevators in there because of the 2 main elevators on for the garage, and then there's one for the heliport that has to be separate because you can't worry about elevators. If there's an emergency, you can't worry about
the one thing this does do, though, is it continues to delay for employees to have to be shuttled.
Unfortunately, it does. I spoke with the hospital with Charlene yesterday, and apologize to the situation, but it's really nothing that we have control over, and so it's hard to.
I don't know if you had a chance to watch any of the litigation from Atlanta yesterday on TV, and I don't know if you heard this morning, but Senator Griffo, feels that Fannie Willis is going to get off scot-free. He told us this morning, right? Right, Joe?
I did not see anything, and I said
you didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that or see it.
Oh, you didn't see it.
But I do believe she has some accountability. But as Bill kept reminding me, it's up to the judge in the end.
Well, it is. And you just think on a case that's so big, you would think we'll hold off on the relationship, right?
Sure.
No.
Well,
no. Those hormones get flowing.
There's so many different. I think there's just judgment calls on all those things that you got to think.
Unbelievable.
You think this is a good idea?
Probably not. Meanwhile, these are 2 pretty seasoned attorneys that should have been able to be like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. Let's wait. But no, they didn't. So I'm sorry, I misquoted you, Joe.
Upon further review.
All right, well, let's talk about the one thing that Joe has been all over the TV about, and that is redistricting. Here we go again.
And, a couple things. Obviously, Senator and I have talked regularly about this, and since it started in the first go-around, even his district at one point was, he had 2 different districts, right? Didn't you initially when you were
running 20 counties at one time over the last first 4 months.
Joe went and campaigned in areas that then he didn't have to run in them. But on this one, we've been, first of all, to say we've kind of been spoiled up till now because we had always had a representative here, and we were always the lead county in that district, whatever that district was, going back really 40 some years when Sherry was in, and even when Don Mitchell was in, and Permy before him. It really was a district in which Oneida County was the biggest county. And that continued up until 2 years ago, and then we got lumped in with Onondaga, and now to split us up too
it doesn't benefit the people of Rome. It doesn't benefit Rome. Maybe she has the ability, Stefanik has the ability to do something for Griffiths, but she's been absent. We're at the edge of her district here.
Well, it's regardless of who represents us, I think, in at the end of the day, when from my perspective, and I think, as county executive, and I'm sure the senator, I know he's already weighed in, but when you split up something so important like a congressional district like that, and even on the state side, look, we have him for a time in his early tenure. There was a piece of Rome and even I think Verona in that area was represented by a Syracuse legislator, by Dave Valesky. Great guy, nice guy. But that's not the point. The point is there are the way there are contiguous bounties of a county, there are contiguous issues of a county. And they overlap, and that's why it's important. But it's also speaking with one voice and being able to go to the senator, as we are now, and say, look, we've got a problem, I got a problem. Whether it's in Boonville or whether it's in Camden or whether it's in Utica or Rome or wherever. And then to do that on the congressional side now, which is even more convoluted, is really hard for us and crazy.
Yeah, one of the things that's always been discussed and is supposed to be part of the review and determinations and establishing and drawing the lines is keeping communities of similar and like interests together. So obviously, when you look at the communities in Oneida counties, the county executive has said the two cities, small metropolitan area, they shouldn't be separated or divided.
Right.
But yet we're seeing that now, and see how it all plays out. I personally believe that the maps will stay the way they are right now.
That's what it appears. And the difficulty is we are most likely not going to have a representative that lives here.
Right.
And that compounds the split district issue of what we have. And especially when you mentioned Rome, but it's all inclusive. But Utica is the biggest city, obviously, in Oneida County, and so now you're dividing that from into another district.
That's the hardest. That is one of the hardest. I mean, even Utica, Rome, and the Valley, which is where we are now, is a problem. It's problematic, I feel, because we are one region. But Utica and Rome being split is terrible.
And then when you go into Rome, obviously, the Air Force Research Lab, the Eastern Air Defense Sector, the DFAS. I mean, you have federal installations, and that are essential, and that employ a lot of people, but also factor into other businesses and other contracts and universities and schools and our whole education system. So that then if there's not someone on in-house, so to speak, or in the neighborhood focused on that, then it leaves it and then it's hard for us to get things done.
Yeah, it's an excellent points. And again, I think the thing that's most frustrating and disappointing to me is that the people of the state of New York spoke, and they're being ignored, and as a result of that, that's problematic. And how they're being ignored is the fact that these lines were established last year, and to say now that we're going to change them because they were only intended for 1 year, it's just it's ridiculous.
And even the last time we went through three or four different variations of what the district was going to look like. Even back then, it was crazy. There was the Molinaro and Delgado district was coming up from the lower end. The Stefanik was coming up from the northern end. Who was coming across from the western end? It was almost
It's like
comical.
It's like the British attack during the Revolution, right?
What I love about it, though, is the honesty. The honesty which blows my mind. Gerrymandering is such a negative thing, right? But no, everybody's honest about it. But the Democrats are going to redraw the lines to benefit them. I mean, they're being honest about it. I don't get that. I would try to hide it, to be honest.
Well, the problem now, the problem now is you have a constitutional amendment that they have to comply with. So that's why you see this more being guised as this or that.
Right.
Because now
but it's supposed to not.
Right.
It's gerrymandering is what's caused the problem we're in right now, where everybody is so protected, and you end up in a.
But look at gerrymandering on the state level, and the benefit, obviously, and because he's here. But that's the good thing, that we have a senator that, at least for our county, that represents the entire that has the entire county. But we had at one point we had 5 assembly people. In Oneida County.
Right.
I mean, think about it. We're the only, and I testified the last time when they went through redistricting years ago, and I went to the committee and I said, really? I mean, we're 240,000 people, 235 to 240. We have 5 members of the assembly here. I mean, how does that factor in? And how is that good representation of government? I mean, when you have. Just think about that. It's so crazy that a small piece of the southern tier, because you had New Hartford and Paris and Sequoia, this area over here represented by one, Utica and Rome something else, the North Country something else, the Western part something
it's craziness.
else. It's ridiculous. It just doesn't. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, to Mary Ann's point earlier in the program when she said, "Who's my representative?" You've got constituents that would likely call and say, call one office and they get directed. By the time they found out that they're not in their district, they're not going to try to call the other person because they're so frustrated.
I have to say,
going back for years, we had two.
Yeah,
right. And I have to say that Senator Griffo, I know for a fact, you found yourself helping people, especially because some of these in the valley you have areas where their senator or their assembly person is so far away. You find, Joe, you're helping them even though you're not in their district.
Yeah, absolutely, because we're regional here and they're familiar with me, and if we can support my colleagues and be helpful.
That alone right there shows why this is bad. It's a region. They actually know you and are familiar with you, yet you don't represent them. Someone from far away does. That's the problem.
Yeah, but it does, and it goes to the point of when you talk constituent service. When you can go to Joe's office and know that they can handle, what the entire area or the overlap, because people, you may be calling for your parent who lives in another part of the county.
That's true too.
So you may not be dealing with your own issue,
right?
But a relative's issue or someone who can. And then when you get into the issue of the others that will say, well, it's not my district, so you got to call this one and that one. Then they'll just call Joe and it'll be easier.
Yeah, and we try to help. We're very fortunate. We've got a great staff, as you indicated earlier. In fact, during the pandemic, we were actually helping people from Long Island because they knew that people had gotten to other people and said, well, if you call his office, you'll get a result, reply and a result. So we were actually helping people on Long Island, and because it was the pandemic, I said, as long as we weren't overwhelmed and we were taking care of our people, we'll help others too.
I have one question, and we'll take a break. Mike asking, is there anything the county can do to diminish the tax increase that Utica is looking at?
Well, it's a good question. I've talked to the mayor a couple times. I mean, we always look to help. Any of the municipalities, if there is somewhere that we could reach in on different programming or areas of whether it's in public safety. We did that once before. I did that years ago with when the previous mayor had issues with on the police side of things and was cutting that. Because of the work that we do and whether it's on the joint task force that we have, we can supplement or help them out. I've offered that. We're going to talk. In fact, I have a meeting with the mayor later this morning. So we'll see if there's something we can do. I mean, it's a matter of obviously, you can't. It's a big nut, but so it can't be cut, to a real, or we can't reach in to a real big amount. But I'm sure there's some things we can do to help.
Maybe you guys could meet at the dog park to talk about it.
Really quickly, I know everybody's favorite Lance and Lee all over the the board this morning. Okay. He's gone from
I don't see any of Lance's stuff today.
He goes all over the place. He goes from I love it that Elise Stefanik may be our congressperson. We will finally have a Republican representative at any level that will have a little power, especially if Trump wins.
Yeah, but she's got to pay attention, for God's sakes.
And then he goes to, of course, these two entrenched Republicans crying the blues. And then it's a good thing we have so many assemblymen. If it weren't for Mary Ann, nothing would get done. So there you go. Just the messenger here from our good old buddy Lance and Lee.
There are so many hints and clues that we get as to who Lance and Lee really is. The other day, he actually gave me one, and he said, the kid that we had in Justin's, Artigiani. Rich Artigiani, he said, here's a clue for you, Bill. Rich lives right near me. So I don't know if that tells you anything at all. The clues are coming in. Who is Lance and Lee? Do you guys want to comment?
No.
Do you want to look at Andrew like, why did you even have to read that, Andrew? I mean, really?
I thought,
really? Hey, you're right.
Listen, I don't want to hear it.
I thought he was only going to talk to Jeff, but I mean, I'm impressed that he reaches out to you.
He wishes he was.
Let me break and come back. Sure. Slippery conditions out there on the roads, and it's snowing again pretty well. right now, so be aware. And it does seem like it's a slippery snow. Joe, you were talking about that this morning.
Slip sliding away.
Slip sliding away. We'll come back to Daylight Donuts, 841 at WIBX.
Uncertainty, the unknown. These can be some of the greatest fears people face. There is a chance for a life of greater certainty that the Rome Rescue Mission provides. We call it a hand up, not a handout. The Rome Rescue Mission provides the basic necessities and the skills needed to start a new life. It starts simply with someone to talk to. Knowing that someone cares, the Rome Rescue Mission strives to meet basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, but more importantly, provides emotional and spiritual support. The Rome Rescue Mission helps people start a new and promising life. Being in need is not a choice. Helping is. An unlimited future starts at the Rome Rescue Mission through your generous support. Make a difference and donate now. RomeMission.org. That's RomeMission.org. Rome Rescue Mission. A hand up, not a handout.
Adirondack Home Furniture's Flex Steel Big Game Sale is going on now, but only for a limited time. Hurry in for discounts up to 15% off select sofas, recliners, occasional pieces, and leather furniture. With hundreds of designer fabrics to choose from, your new piece is guaranteed to have the look you want. Stop dreaming and start creating the home of your dreams with quality, long-lasting Flex Steel furniture from Adirondack Home Furniture. Beauty and comfort is made to last with Flex Steel's exclusive lifetime warranty blue steel spring seating. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and save up to 15% during their big game sale. Visit their Flex Steel gallery for the best selection of Flex Steel furniture on sale. The best value and top quality furniture for your home is at Adirondack Home Furniture. You don't want to miss out on the Flex Steel big game sale at Adirondack Home Furniture. Hurry in, sale ends soon. Located at the former Riverside Mall, Horatio Street, Utica.
Looking for a new career? Liverpool Pool and Spa wants to hear from you at their brand new location on East Dominic Street in Rome, where they're hiring full and part-time installers, service techs, and retail sales with plenty of room for advancement. Good pay, great work culture, and just a fun place to work. It's more than just a job, it's a career. Plus, you get to create people's backyard oasis. They'll train the right people, and you can apply in person at Liverpool Pool and Spa, 1501 East Dominic Street in Rome. Don't just dream it, live it.
It's All Seasons Outfitters store-wide clearance sale. Find huge savings on your favorite brands. North Face, Champion, and select work boots 50% off. Outdoor games and baseball 50% off. Save 30% on winter boots and hunting apparel. 25% on workwear and hikers. You won't want to miss it. The savings are on at All Seasons Outfitters. See more on their Facebook page and allseasonsoutfitter.com. Your store for every season is All Seasons Outfitters.
First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX.
We're playing music. Nice, I like it. Good morning on a snowy Friday morning with Senator Joe Griffo. Joe, explain what Joe time is. For those who wonder, as we're live here at Daylight Donuts.
Daylight Donuts live, and actually been interacting with a number of constituents here this morning. I want to thank them for coming out and braving the elements. We've been doing this for many years now, where we come into a coffee shop and meet with the people and listen to their suggestions or discuss issues of concern to them, and appreciate the stations from time to time coming over and allowing those who can't make it in to listen and to engage.
Yeah. Here's one of your constituents, Rick Lewis.
Rick Lewis, the man.
Well, yeah, I'm over here looking at the microphone that Joe's. It looks like a contraption that Wile E. Coyote would put together to catch the roadrunner. It's got a plug going into some transducer, going into a gender changer.
Those are all from Radio Shack.
Oh my gosh.
That's a nice throwback. They still work. They still work. And when you're short a mic cord, you can create one.
That's quite a contraption.
And it's working just fine, I got to tell you.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the one of those game show hosts used to have a long pole, but
it did a little
I suppose
like
if
a
you
Bob
held
Barker.
it down at the bottom, it wouldn't work.
It's like a Bob Barker mic.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
Come on down.
Come on down.
Yeah.
You're the next contestant. All right. All right, what do you have going on, Capitol Theater? Then I got to bring other people in.
Well, the 20-something annual edition of Cartoon Madness.
And you have a week off. Kids are on winter
and
break.
that's what it is every year during the week off the kids have. And it's 3 o'clock in the day, 3 o'clock in the afternoon matinee. And there's like 12 cartoons, classic Warner Brothers cartoons. And this year featuring Wile E. Coyote.
Nice.
I never knew that he talked. And I'm seeing a lot of these versions where he's talking in them. I
guess I didn't know he talked either.
Yeah, and that's the thing is a lot of these cartoons are dug out of the vaults and maybe you've probably never seen. They're not the ones you usually get to see. There's actually one where he's chasing Bugs Bunny. And that was kind of a shock.
All those for the kids to see these cartoons, that's what we watched, right? I mean,
the interesting thing is there's these series of cartoons made by Tex Avery, who I didn't know from A Hill of Beans, and they're extremely adult. And it was explained that cartoons weren't really made for kids when they first came out.
Well, I mean, the Flintstones, there was in prime time.
Yeah.
And had cigarette commercials.
Fred and Barney smoking cigarettes.
Remember on Thanksgiving this year, we watched some throwback on Friday morning throwback commercials. There was a lot of references to World War II and the Nazis and things like that too. So there was also different realms where cartoons were getting into geopolitical issues as well.
Oh yeah, and
you'd never get that today.
Oh no,
that was South Park.
Well, you notice South Park doesn't come on Saturday morning. It's South Park, kids.
Yeah.
No, not quite.
All right, so it's all week long.
It's going all week long at 3 o'clock every day.
Nice.
And there's actually a 7 o'clock show Saturday night.
Okay.
So
cool.
It's really some treat, especially sitting in a big theater. Watching it on a big screen with a big sound. So
it reminds me of my days early when I was in elementary school. Our parents would drop us off at the high school, and the art department would play movies and stuff. And it was like a Walt Disney movie. Once they played by mistake Deer Slayer. Supposed to be a Disney movie, but it was not.
It was not Deer Saver. It was Deer Slayer.
It was all R-rated, and all of a sudden the guy came running down. Stop! Everybody.
And the kids were like, "Oh, come on, man! We was grooving on it."
It looked pretty. I was getting exciting, to be honest. All right, Senator Griffo, I want to say one thing about the Rome Capitol, and I know Mayor Izzo played a big role in this, but Albany certainly played a role as well, and that is the marquee has just capped off that beautiful theater.
Yeah, part of the state grants through the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, some other state money has been put in, and Rick and Art and everybody there do a great job.
Yep, gotta love it.
And now you got to see our grand installed lights and sound system with bringing concerts in, like 38 Special just played this weekend, along with Mr. Big.
That's
Ace
cool.
Frehley coming up. It's
Good stuff.
It's grand inside as it is outside.
How did Priscilla Presley work out? I didn't hear any of the aftermath.
That was absolutely great.
Okay.
Did you go to that?
No, I didn't, but I think Billy DiPaolo's doing great work there.
Yeah.
Bringing some talent
Got
to the
some good
Capitol.
stuff. Yeah.
It was a good show.
Right.
I was wondering, what is she going to do? Sit there and talk?
Yeah.
Which is what she did. She sat there and
That's
talked.
what she did. All right, stand by. We're coming right back. It's Joe Time. Thank you, Rick E. Lewis.
All right.
Joe Time at Daylight Donuts. I got a few more minutes, and I got a lot to squeeze in here. Coming right back. It's 8:50.
It's easy to see. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh realities facing American families. We all know something big is coming, and that's why so many folks are preparing. They're becoming more self-reliant by investing in emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, and they make it easy for you to prepare. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure some emergency food kits. There's a dozen to choose from that contain tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, heirloom seeds for your garden, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your items will ship that same day. Time is short. Prepare today. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
You're ready. Pull a chair right
And we're back. Back here at Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. A special thanks to Chuck Sedella for allowing us the facility here this morning. I do have one mention, though, that I was told that if you're looking for another place to broadcast, the Tukulana Club recently completed, renovated the bar area, and we would love to host the show to publicize the 50th anniversary coming up this year of the World Series of Botch.
Yeah, we've done
Joe Malachi. Thank you, Joe.
We've done Joe time there with great World Series weekend, but yeah, we'd love to have you in Rome again too.
Yeah.
And just kind of talk about something with the county executive here. He and I, County Executive Pacenti and I, are going to be co-hosting a artificial intelligence roundtable discussion. It's a good segue to Dr. Hayduck, who's with us right now. Right, and we're just, it's true. But it'll give us an opportunity to have the public learn more about AI, benefits, drawbacks, concerns. We got Anthony Martino from Utica University.
Okay.
Charles Green, co-founder, president, CEO of AIS. Dr. Andy Droz from president, CEO, and chief scientist at Andro. So it's going to be a great opportunity, 6:30 to 8 o'clock on Wednesday, February 28th, last Wednesday of the month, 6:30, 8:30 at MVCC Rome, the Rome campus. So the public is very much invited and welcome to attend this.
Okay.
And hopefully they'll get a lot out of this because I know there's a lot of interest in this.
I got to say, Mike, without AI, we would not have had our Real Men Get Tested Super Bowl commercial.
Awesome commercial.
We
though. Loved it. Loved it. It was a hit in our house. Right?
It was great to see the governor so willing to help us out. So
what would the governor think of that?
Speaking of artificial intelligence,
I think
any cease and desist.
We haven't got. It's still running so far, so we're still alive. Tell us if you can the stuff that's going on at Rome Labs. Would the stuff that you can talk about,
sure.
Especially right now with the latest alert that just came, with this talk about Russia putting up a nuclear-powered satellite weapon. I mean, this is the type of stuff that you guys are involved in.
Sure. So there's a lot going on in the world right now, right? We've talked about it before. It's a rapidly changing world. It's a dangerous place. There's a lot of nation-states out there. That want to do us harm, that want to, create havoc in the world. And, that's one of the things you can do with AI now is just create havoc. And, one of the things we work on in Rome in terms of information technology, cyber technologies, AI, quantum, is, you don't need kinetics to really cause havoc. You can think of social media warfare. You can think about taking over banking systems, critical infrastructure with cyber technologies. Those are all the things I worry about. We can have, in the next war, you could really have other countries here on our systems without them physically being here, right? So,
what I fear is, I mean, was it Obama that produced the movie that had the worst ending ever? But it was pretty scary about the things, I realize it's sci-fi, but it does make you wonder what could happen if somebody attacked us in a cyber war. Everything relies on
cyber. Yeah, cyber technology, GPS technology. Yeah. So we talk about space, right?
Yeah.
So all our communication systems go through space. GPS technologies. Everyone depends on GPS. We use it heavily in the military. we know it can be jammed, right? That's not anything I'm speaking out of line with. So those are the kind of things we worry about all the time and figuring out not only how to counter, but how to come up with other systems. So if you don't have GPS, how can you still know where you are and proceed and move about? And, and there's a reason we stood up the Space Force as a nation, right? Space is another critical domain for us. There was a lot of, questions when it stood up and why, but I think we're seeing now very much first and foremost why we need a Space Force out there. Because
I thought it was the goofiest idea ever when it was first proposed, but now you look at it and it completely makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Maybe it was just because Steve Cannell was in this show.
It might have been. It might have been. Sheriff Mayshall in the mix here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Wonderful. Do you guys, are you dealing with any of the AI stuff? Is it affecting you at all?
I mean, we get it a lot with people calling in phone scams. So again, it's something we're just learning about. But again, looking down the road into the future, this is definitely something we're going. It was you. Definitely something we're going to have to better educate ourselves on as this evolves.
I had a call yesterday, and I got the alert, and I shouldn't have. You really shouldn't even answer these calls.
Exactly.
They're phishing calls, but I just thought when no one answers you back and you keep saying hello, I'm thinking, well, they're just trying to see if it's an active number. When in reality, there's a very good chance they're recording your voice.
Absolutely. It's a very good chance of that. I mean, you just look at your phone. I can't tell you how many spam calls I get every day. You see that and you just...
I saw a local commercial in which they did that. I can't believe that they did
Terrible.
It. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that people would have the nerve to do that.
Those real men get tested, people.
I can't believe it. Well, I'm going to go. I got to go to work because, I got unceremoniously tossed off the show here when the sheriff walked in. So.
Just like that.
Just
Boom.
like that, but
well, you have a garage to build.
I do. I'm going to... Wow. Yeah, wow.
I'm sorry. Listen, no one could have been more disappointed than you.
I hope Kathy Hochul calls you today.
County Executive, thank you. And drive safely out there. Speaking of that, before we get all done, driving in this...
Very challenging, especially coming out of the North Country. I mean, it's snowing real hard at my house when I left this morning. I was out about before 5 o'clock plowing the driveway and then fed the cows, and here I am heading to work. But it's winter is back. I'm sure the snowmobilers will be trying to get out there. I mean, check with your local snowmobile clubs. Just because there's snow on the ground doesn't mean that the trail systems are going to be open.
And for God's sakes, be careful on the ice because we have not been that cold.
On the way down, actually on 12, I saw 2 rollovers. So, I mean, gratefully.
It was just coming out this morning. It was a slippery.
Both of them were property damage only. Nobody hurt, but vehicles, flipped over in 2 different spots coming down.
Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Joe,
thank you, Senator Griffo, for being there for law enforcement. He's been a huge ally to us. We cannot thank him enough. He's always had first responders at the forefront in everything that he does.
Thank you, Sheriff. I appreciate that. And Dr. Haydick, thank you, because they're doing some great stuff at AFRL, and it's thanks to this leadership.
Thank you, Joe. Joe time. We'll do it again. I appreciate it.
We'll do it when the weather's better.
Have a great weekend, everybody. WIB on Utica Rome. It's 9 o'clock.
The death of a Putin critic in prison. CJ Papa, Fox News. Alexei Navalny was the man behind the massive protests while pointing out official corruption under President Vladimir Putin before he was jailed by the Kremlin. Fox's Jonathan Savage.
The Russian prison service says Alexei Navalny died in a penal colony 40